What's up, wrestling fans? I'm not sure what's going on here because I can't hear anything in my headphones, which really kind of sucks. So that's why you see me messing with things right away if you're watching on stream.
We do this live, folks. We do this live.
Like, it makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
This board sucks.
Well, it's the wear and tear of having a successful podcast. It's just breaking down all the equipment this week for 607 podcast.
Well, I can tell that you guys can hear us. That's good enough for me. That's all I care about right now. I don't understand. There we go.
There we go.
I don't understand what is going on currently with the headset situation, the headphone situation, but thank you guys for tuning in. I know it kind of was a weird open, especially if you're listening on podcasts, because you're like, what the hell is going on with these guys? We just had a little bit of audio troubles, but you are tuned in now to 607 Podcast presents The Wrestling Show, coming to you from the 8122 Production Studios at Dragon Master Games. I am your host, Rich, and one of the hosts here, of course, at 607 Podcast on Twitch. And, of course, joining me, another host over here. He joins me every week. You better know him as the host of the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour podcast, better known as the ODPH, talking about Ken M.
607 podcast, Twitch fam. What's happening? What's going on? What's good? Are we ready to talk some wrestling? Oh, I think we are.
I hope so. I hope that the audio sounding pretty good. Like I said, I can hear myself finally. So we're hoping everything is going well.
Yep.
And so let's get out the particulars. If you're not watching on twitch.tv/607 podcasts, if you're not watching, that's fine. If you listen to us on podcast form of the Three Fat Nerds Network of Podcasting, that's always good. But if you're not following us on twitch.tv/607 podcasts, that is a problem.
That's a big problem.
What are you waiting for? Follow us over there. We're almost at 100 followers. Please give us a follow, and you'll be entered to win a Funko Pop and make me and Diesel do the one chip challenge. Hey, Luda Santa, how you doing? Subscribe for 2 months.
Hey, what's
Thanks,
going
brother.
on? Thank you very much for joining in and dropping that sub, man. Appreciate that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. And so there we go. We're starting it off. Actually, let's throw some celebration.
Yeah, we got to get that music
Why
going
not,
because
man?
every time you drop a sub, that's how we go about this.
Oh. We're having audio difficulties like you would not believe.
We got the hack going on.
Bam, there you go. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, man. Woo! Love it. Thank you, man. Much respect. Thank you so much for doing that, brother.
Appreciate that so much. Thank you.
It has been a crazy one. As you can tell, usually this starts right up and is going well, and now we're messing with some audio and visual, and anybody who is in any kind of streaming and stuff understands how that works. So let's dive into, like I said, if you would also if you want to be a subscriber, when we hit to 25 subscribers, we're giving away a $50 gift card to Amazon. If you can be a subscriber, that'd be awesome because it's a great way to support us. If you are a Amazon Prime member, you get one free Twitch Prime subscription a month. You can gift that to us, and that'll enter you as well. So you could win an Amazon Prime gift card, or an Amazon period gift card, if you're an Amazon Prime member, for free.
How easy is that?
For free. But that's a whole other story for another day. Let's not bog down in that, but I do want to help the people know how to get a hold of us. So Ken M, tell them how to get a hold of you and the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour podcast.
Simple. You want to get a hold of me and the rest of the ODPH team, swing on over to OchoDuroParlayHour.com. Join the conversation on Facebook, on Twitter at OD Parlay Hour, Instagram, Podchaser, wherever you hear fine podcasts, such as the one you're listening to right now. And always remember use the hashtag ODPH.
And, of course, if you're checking and want to check out the Three Fat Nerds podcast, you can find us anywhere you get podcasts, searching for Three Fat Nerds in any podcast provider. Also, you get this show also weekly if you want to listen to it in podcast form as well. Of course, go to 8122productions.com to get all of the information about us, as well as all of how you follow us. And I always tell people Twitter's the best way, at 3 Fat Nerds Pod on Twitter. I'm there the most, but we are on all social media avenues, so you can check us out there as well. So there you go. There you have it. It's a lot of fun. We're opening up the show. You can subscribe monetarily. You could donate money to us at streamlabs.com/8122productions. That'll be in the stream or in the chat eventually. And of course, the one last way that you can also support us monetarily and help out all that we're doing here is doing that on patreon.com/8122productions. And there's a graphic for that right about now. And there you go. Go there. We have 2 exclusive shows. I Love Movies with Ron. And we talk about movies that we love. It's just basically reviews of movies loved, hate, everything else. Ron comes up with a movie every month. And of course, the hottest show behind a paywall, Love is Scary with Dr. Derek. Trust me, it is too hot for even Twitch. We don't want to get banned from everything talking about what he talks about on there. Plus, you also get the Three Fat Nerds podcast early, and it's the uncut, unedited, uncooked version of the podcast every week, and also early access to Horror Zone 607. So there you go.
There's a lot of win, and $1 gets you in the door, $3 gets you a comfy seat at the table. Like, what else do you need? Enough said.
I don't know. I don't know. Hey, that is here as well. I need to move this more. I told somebody I was going to move it around, and then I didn't move it around. So I don't know. Lex Luger's a little late on there.
It happens.
I don't know. There he is. So with that being said, though, let's dive in. We got a lot to talk about this week.
Yes, we do.
And I know this is one of your favorite parts of the show, Ken. So take it away. And that's right, it's time for the opening bout. Let's open this show up. Let's start talking about that wrestling. That's what you tuned in for. And we are going to open it up talking about the Elite AEW doing what they're doing with the Good Brothers in Impact Wrestling. And of course, we're going to be talking about the real Bullet Club.
Oh, bless Tom.
And
bless Tama.
Good guy / bad guy, Tama Tonga. And we talked about it briefly last week, Tama Tonga putting out there the betrayal, and that the betrayal was real. And it hasn't stopped.
No.
It has not stopped. Tama Tonga, let's unpack the first thing first. Bad Luck Fale had put up a post about the cease and desist shirts and doing the cease and desist on the Too Sweet. And basically, Tama responded by saying, I love that lie.
Yeah.
Leading people to speculate that the cease and desist that WWE gave them in New Japan, the Elite that is, or Bullet Club, was a lie, that there was never a cease and desist. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. Matt Jackson had gone on Twitter and explained that Tama Tonga has seen the evidence and that he knows that he's just full of it, whatever. Don't know why he's poking the bear. But that's what we've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
But, and this is a big but, my evidence to this is they've been using that Too Sweet an awful lot on Dynamite these past couple weeks, Ken.
Yep.
And nobody has sent them a cease and desist or a lawsuit, and that's really strange because WWE's not in the business of letting them get away with things. So I don't know. Where there's smoke, there might be fire. Maybe Tama Tonga ain't lying.
Tama's not lying, in my opinion.
You think he's on point?
I think he's on point. When has he ever really lied about something on there? I mean, he has always been a very straight shooter on Twitter. Amazing Twitter account, too. You should be following him as well. And if you think about it and you break down the dynamics, WWE does not let a lot slide concerning trademark and copyright. And if they had allegedly copywritten the Too Sweet gesture, then that whole work that the Young Bucks pulled, because that's what it would be, phenomenal, but now exposed.
True story. So Fightful got to sit down and talk to bad guy Tama Tonga, if you will. And he's been very vocal on Twitter, and he was very vocal in his interview with Fightful. So here's what he had to say. These are exact words from Tama himself. What got me triggered was when I saw Kenny Omega go Bullet Club. Oh, you son of a bitch, you. The one guy who tried to dismantle us from the inside, split us into two. The guy who tried to ruin Bullet Club is now using Bullet Club in an angle, a reunion, question mark? How can there be a reunion when Bullet Club is still here, question mark? They should have called it something else. All of y'all have gone and tried to do different things in another company. No matter what, you're not Bullet Club. That's a slap to the face to us. If you're the OGs, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, and you're promoting this as Bullet Club, ... damn, dude. Y'all do your thing and do whatever the hell you want, but do not call it Bullet Club because you are not Bullet Club, he continued. Are you going to come to Japan and that's a reunion for us too? Question mark. Nah, I'm pissed off. They sold out for a quick buck. Once a sellout, always a sellout. For people saying, oh, the Elite is spreading the Bullet Club name. No, the Elite is spreading the Elite name. That's how it was and always will be.
He's not wrong.
I'm just saying, I just have to throw it out there.
I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
But I think he had to say it.
Oh, he had to.
He had to say it. I don't know, man. I there is some fire coming from one Tama Tonga. And I don't blame him.
And rightfully so, because the Bullet Club has always been tied to New Japan Pro Wrestling. And even when Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks raised the popularity in the States with it, let's not forget, in the States is the key point here, that it's always been a New Japan thing.
But I want to point this out. Was it really them that raised the popularity? It was already popular. The Bullet Club was getting over prior to them. The Bullet Club was I mean, they might have not been in Hot Topic.
That's what I mean, though.
But Hot Topic, remember, that distribution ad deal brokered more money for the Bucks and Omega and the Elite and not the actual Bullet Club.
Right, but it didn't catch fire here in the States to the degree it did without Omega and the Bucks and being the Elite. Like, that's where it really took off. Like, that's where they were using it as the invasion angle and such and what have you. So I understand Thomas' point, and I agree with him, because they have ran with it, but then they also did the whole sub-elite clique of the Bullet Club, because that's where that really originated from. So he does have a legit argument here, and I think he's on point with everything he said.
Oh, I'm not upset about I think he's 100% correct on everything he said and more. However, I still feel that it's, I don't know. There's part of me that goes, the Elite was the Bullet Club was doing fine before. I mean, the Bullet Club caught fire to me right away, and a lot of wrestling fans that were there. Maybe not the mainstream,
yeah.
But then you have to argue how much mainstream did they really catch fire. And the reason I say that is because maybe people bought the shirts at Hot Topic, but they didn't know who the Bullet Club was. They just looked like cool shirts. And the reason I say that is because how many fans are literally diehard AEW fans currently? Like, their ratings aren't showing that if you want to go by the all-important quote-unquote ratings.
Oh, I understand that point, and I will say for what they did, though. I'm just saying in the past, because the fact that the Bullet Club logo broke through to mainstream. I mean, that's something you have to say, did Fale and Tama Tonga do that? No, but they did establish what it truly was in Japan, and there's no question about that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, for breakout success with it to mainstream fans that didn't know who they were, the Bucks and Omega did. However, it doesn't give them ownership of it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I agree with you, but I also am like, it's all there. It's not as cut and dry as a lot of people in the wrestling world would like to think, or fans would like to think.
Right? No, I agree with that.
I definitely don't think it's that cut and dry. I don't think that it's going to be that cut and dry when it's all said and done. That's just my personal opinion. I think that there's a lot of burned bridges, and I think this is not setting well to go back and do AEW with New Japan.
Unless this is all a serious work, which, I mean, if it is, and we find out later on the road that we're going to have the GOD versus the Bucks, then we can kind of talk a different story.
Yes and no, and the reason I say yes and no is I don't want to say that it's a complete work. Not trying to be worked myself, but Tama Tonga is not really known.
Yeah,
for
that's the thing, though. I know
works on the internet.
He's not. He's always, like I said, he's always been a straight shooter. Like, he does not really do works at all there.
And that interview with Fightful was just a little bit too venomous for even a work.
Yeah,
or a shoot. I'm sorry. Or, I mean, a work. Sorry, it was venomous enough for a shoot. It sounds like a man who's pissed off.
Yeah.
It does not sound like a man who's like, oh, we're just doing this deal and this gimmick where these guys are going to come in and we're going to be all friends again.
Yeah.
Like, that's my whole point. And I think a lot of them got screwed over when all these guys left, including Gallows and Anderson prior to them, including, Omega and stuff. And like I said, Omega basically used Bullet Club as his own personal army to achieve his success in New Japan. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't see where there was a mutual beneficial thing. Like, AJ, at least I saw where there was a benefit to Bullet Club with AJ there.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion.
Oh, yeah. It's just different eras with different wrestlers at the helm with the connection. But I do see the point, though, you're making, though.
Well, let's get into some more heat. There's some more heat and beef out there in the world of pro wrestling right now. And I've been saying this for a while. Our boy in Retribution, T-Bar, is a savage.
Oh, my God.
I don't know why anybody right now would want to step into the game and challenge T-Bar to anything. The man is a savage, complete savage. And this is what he took to Twitter about. He said, some little teenage virgin on AEW stole my finisher like 4 years ago after we did a show together. I'd steal something from his moveset, but it's all just at King Ricochet moves.
Shots fired.
Wow. So Sammy Guevara had a response. He says on Twitter, he said, someone tell T-Bag the move actually belongs to Matt DeMorris, the guy he stole it from. And I'm just trying to get the move to be seen since he's never on TV. Also, while you are sitting doing nothing and catering on Monday, check out the newest vlog.
Is Sammy really on Dynamite these days?
I mean, he's there as a background role.
Yeah, he hasn't wrestled in...
He's just there as the background role. But there's an exclamation point put on there because if you mess with the bull, and in this case it's T-Bar, you get the horns. As T-Bar says, and finally, Someone tell Panda Kid I had a singles match on TV last night and I didn't steal the move from some backyarder. I thought of it in a professional wrestling win with @KillForNova. Try being creative sometime instead of, oh, I don't know, making jokes about rape.
Wow.
Drops the mic.
Yep. I just want to say this. Retribution between Ali and T-Bar and what they're doing on social media, they deserve to get a microphone on Raw. Why has this not been happening?
I don't know. I have no clue. I just want to start by saying, Sammy, stay out of grown folks' business.
Yeah.
He's above your pay grade and your talent and your everything. Just throwing it out there. It just stay away. Like, it's shitty that they put Dominic Dijakovic or Donovan Dijak, whatever you want to call him, behind this stupid fucking mask on Raw. It's dumb. I get it, and I hate it too. But the man is still a savage.
Yeah.
The man is still an amazing professional wrestler if you ever had a chance to show it. And B, you don't mess with him on the internet.
No.
He's been going after people left and right on the internet, under the T-Bar gimmick even, and he's just been claiming bodies. Don't invoke the name. And I like how you try to come back and call him T-Bag and accuse him of stealing a move. Newsflash, Sammy, and this is a newsflash to maybe all the wrestling marks out there. Every move has probably been done before or something similar. The fact that he says he created the move with Nova, Mike Bucci, if you will, really good wrestling trainer. If he says he came up with the movie with him, and I've heard the Nova saying that he did, and Nova, one of the most innovative wrestling personalities of all time.
Facts.
I'm just saying, Sammy, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, because nobody wants any piece of T-Bar on Twitter.
Well, here's the worst part about it. Nobody wants to hear at the end of it. Remember when you got to get suspended by your company for making a joke about raping Sasha Banks and the fact that he just throws that back out into the open public wound again?
Yeah.
Like, that's just not a thing you want to be known for, guy.
No.
And as much as you're trying to separate yourself and you're still in purgatory for it, you just got roasted.
Yeah.
And for what? Man?
Yeah.
Because you thought that you were going to talk smack, you thought it was low-lying fruit for some reason. You think that just because a guy, does what he does, it's low-lying fruit. It's not. It just isn't.
No.
It just isn't.
And T-Bar's game on Twitter has been absolutely savage. Absolutely.
I just want to point out, I did not have time to put a graphic for this, so we're going to leave this graphic up for a second longer. One of the other funny things to hit the news cycle this week, as far as more beef, because I got 2 more beef ones, but like I said, I didn't have time to put this in because it broke late. Somebody asked on Twitter, he said that 15 years later, maybe, or I don't know, I don't watch, Dolph Ziggler put on Twitter, a fan responded with going, well, maybe 15 years later you will be used, we're the WWE 2035 version of Goldberg, bell ring, super kick, and zigzag pin, bell ring again. Dolph Ziggler's response is the thing of legends, as Dolph Ziggler responded, nah, I'm good at wrestling.
He's not wrong.
Oh, I don't know how much Bill Goldberg's going to enjoy that little fun fact. He usually gets really mad when guys shoot at him, but yeah, he ain't wrong.
He's not wrong. I mean, we know that Goldberg has, to put it politely, a limited set of moves. Ziggler,
is it just a limited set?
I'm trying to be polite. I'm not trying to completely bury it, but let's be honest. Ziggler, when he's pushed and he's motivated, is a phenomenal in-ring talent that used to be able to steal the show all the time, and now we don't get to see that as much. But when he gets in the ring and he's motivated, he's absolutely phenomenal in the ring. One of the best to do it.
So I have a new segment, kind of. We don't have a graphic for yet, although I do have some new graphics in the mid-card for some other segments.
Okay.
But I did get music for this. And it's because a lot of clown shoe shit happens in wrestling. So sometimes it just deserves to be called out as such. So here's the music for that. That's right.
Wow.
Little clown shoes. And the reason why is because the guy that is on your screen currently.
Oh, jeez.
If you, of course, are not watching on Twitch, we have a picture of Ryback on the screen. So Ryback has taken his personal vendetta against WWE. He said that he is going to bring them down. Bring them down.
Yawn.
Bring them down. And of course,
Snore.
if you guys are watching on Twitch, you know that I am doing the feed me more, but bring them down.
Yeah.
So this week he put up some shit about he had two things. Let's start with the least of the funny ones, but it's still funny because he's a moron. Mm-hmm. So he put up something on Twitter, and it was a bunch of pictures, and it was of posts that he had on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and how the numbers on Twitter are suppressed. And he's claiming these numbers are suppressed by WWE. And this is what he says. I have to keep pushing, and please like and share. At WWE had my at Twitter and at Instagram suppressed in 2016. When I didn't give them my brand, TikTok doesn't suppress me, and you can see the major difference. Twitter suppresses me the hardest. 137 likes versus nearly 1 million. So that's his evidence, and it was because he was doing it's a stupid ad video for what is going to be. Don't let me distract you. Let me motivate you to more. Feed me more nutrition. So it's just a hashtag of some dietary thing he's doing. Yeah. That's probably why people didn't like it. First of all, people don't like you. So one of the things that he took a picture of, though, was his WWE release, where after he was released and he continued carrying the at the big guy Ryback 22 is now his name instead of just Ryback. Yo! What up, Dave, in the chat?
Dave in the house.
So he went to the Ryback. So he went to the big guy Ryback 22. Like that was going to search. But the cease and desist. Well, it wasn't really a cease and desist. I don't want to spread that rumor. Yeah. It was more or less, hey, upon termination of your contract, you signed a contract that says we own all the rights to the name Ryback, big guy, feed me more. They were all things created in WWE by a character we created. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you have to forfeit them and you cannot continue to work under them. We will take actions against you. And they did. They've probably filed things with all the social media things.
Yeah.
The reason why TikTok's kind of the Wild West at this point in juncture.
Yes.
Eventually, they'll have enough sanctions and all that shit that they'll be like everybody else. Let's just throw it out there.
It's coming.
But that's why you can explain it that way, my good sir. But his fire back to that, and his fans, the handful of them there are, their fire back is that he created Ryback. Well, no, he didn't. First of all, I'm going to say this, and I want to make sure that we're being clear. We're talking about Ryback. The original character that Ryan Reeves, and I don't mind saying his real name because he's not a real pro wrestler, without me knowing him, because he's not. He's a piece of human trash. He always has been. He was unsafe in the ring. WWE took him because he looked like $1 million, but he had the brains of a fucking chimp. Mm. There it is. He used to call himself the Silverback.
Yep.
The reason WWE didn't use that is because it's generally termed as a racist term. Mm-hmm. I understand that he's white, but still, it's still usually used as a racist term. So therefore, they came up after he failed as Chip Hatfield or whatever the fuck his name.
Skip Sheffield.
Whatever his name was. He was garbage then. He was still garbage as Ryback. They came up with this person thing, which took that Silverback gimmick and his first name being Ryan. Ho-ho! They made Ryback, and they made him a Goldberg clone, and with the feed me more instead of who's next.
Right.
Am I wrong? Is anybody going to argue that that's not the facts in this case?
No, they completely made that character up. There's no way that it's not WWE. That is a creator-wrestler WWE right there.
Yeah.
It's facts. I mean, even the tights were what, Rob Van Dam-esque?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
They used the airbrush painting that Rob Van Dam used to use for his.
Yeah, I should look at the screen. Yeah.
It's right there. I mean, this is, by the way, at an indie show, the one we have on the screen. You could tell from the ceiling.
Yeah. So that being said, it's WWE, and every wrestler knows when they go to WWE, this is the business they do. They create characters. Very few times is a wrestler allowed to come in there and bring an indie gimmick, and they don't fix it or touch upon it in a way that it's not becomes their intellectual property.
Yeah. That's my point. And so you can't complain and say that they're trying to subvert you. No, you are just not following the rules. You are supposed to forfeit the name. Yeah. That's the contract you signed. If you didn't like it, you shouldn't have signed the contract.
Exactly.
At the bottom of the line. And once again, I'm a guy who, has been out here fighting for them about doing, the Twitch things and everything like that. But at the end of the day, when you sign a contract, you know what the contract says. The thing that's different about the Twitch and the third-party stuff is when they signed their contracts, that wasn't part of it.
Correct.
They added that after, which is kind of dumb. Him, on the other hand, he knew that they created the character. He knew when he left the company that he had no rights to the character. Mm-hmm. And now he's going on to social media 4 years plus later, going, well, they're screwing me over because they own the rights to it. Well, you're lucky they didn't hit you with a cease and desist in the last 4 years, but that's how irrelevant you are.
Exactly.
You are so irrelevant that WWE doesn't care that you're going around calling yourself Ryback at indie shows. Hell, they won't let Hornswoggle call himself Hornswoggle. He has to be known as Swoggle. Mm-hmm. And he has a decent relationship with the company still, from what I understand.
Correct.
And he has to be called Swoggle at events. You get to call yourself Ryback because they don't even care about you. They don't care enough to even go. You're nothing. You're a drop in the bucket. And I saw how much you charge. That's why you don't work much, because nobody cares. You haven't drawn a dime, kid. Damn. But that's not the part where he's a moron in the aspect there. He's all brawn, no brain. He's got the little tiny pea brain. Here's where it shows up the most. Remember the line that all of this is being done because he's gonna put them down. He's gonna single-handedly bring down WWE. That's his goal. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Here it is. WWE and Fox tweeted, "The best superstar to never win the @WWE Championship is underline." Now, mind you, if you guys are paying attention to the product over there on SmackDown, I don't watch SmackDown, but I do pay attention. The Fox has their own account, the WWE on Fox, and they do a lot of good, cool, interactive tweets that really actually generate a lot of cool stuff. So that's all they're doing. They're just trying to get fans and draw it. So the big guy at Ryback using a different moniker this time. So he's using the official Ryback one that he's not supposed to be using to do this tweet. Sends out wrestling's fake guys, and the championships are props to market entertainers as quote-unquote champions. Nobody has actually ever won or lost a prop, as scripted physical entertainment is incapable of that. This tweet explains so much, though, your TV deal with them. Guy, this is not 1980. This is not pre-1990, pretty much, where the world believed in kayfabe. And even then, most people knew it was still a work. Yep. Everybody knows wrestling's a work, Ryback. Everybody knows, guy. Hey, Ryan, it's not a secret. Everybody knows that the matches are predetermined and that the belts are predetermined. Everybody knows this guy. What in the hell is this guy thinking?
We talk about rent-free living in somebody's head. This is bizarro world of that, because the WWE has moved on. And we have an individual here that, perception is reality, has not moved on from 1988.
Even before then, man.
Hearing that comment is were you expecting to drop a pipe bomb like CM Punk with this revelation? I don't get it. And I was sitting there going, really? So now you're breaking this news to who? Next
thing you know, he's going to tell me the guy's blade to get color.
Yeah.
You know what else he's going to tell us? He's going to give us the hot take that the referee actually communicates between the two workers. He's going to tell us that you go to a training place where they train you how to wrestle, despite that we have 10 episodes of Tough Enough. Mm-hmm. One time he even tried out for, remember?
Wasn't it twice? Because he did.
I think he did. He might have done it twice.
He did NXT
thing, but he tried out for Tough Enough.
Yeah, he lost to The Miz.
Yes. Well, he lost getting on to the show.
Right.
He didn't even make it. So guy, since 1988 at the latest, everybody has known that wrestling is a work.
Yeah.
Kayfabe had died, and then, in the 90s, we got Tough Enough, the first iteration on television, so it really pulled the carpet back, and then, there's been documentaries that have come out and so on and so forth. But people knew it was a work prior. Some people wanted to believe, they always sold it as it wasn't a work, but some people already knew. There's people whistleblowing as early as 1960. And even before then, it's kind of ironic that you think that this is the revelation that's going to bring the massive WWE to its knees and beg you to come back or to give you money or something. I don't know what you're actually looking for or what your end game is, but it's insane to me.
There is no end game. This is a weird job application. The only way I can take this is he's thinking, well, if they sign me back, I'll keep my mouth shut. But you're not disclosing anything nobody doesn't already know.
You better come up with better information than that if you're trying to keep
this is Al Capone's vault right here. Like seriously.
In other news, and we use it all the time, but in other news, water is wet.
Yeah.
Come on, my guy.
Just take the L and go, man. Just take the L and move on.
So that's why he wins this week's. I mean, we might not do it every week, but he wins this week's Clown Shoes. You earned it.
Wow.
There it was, man. This guy, man, I don't know. I can't even fathom what we talk about sometimes when we jump into these things. They just blow my mind just gets blown and it blows everywhere and it's horrible.
It's bizarro rent-free living right there, man.
Well, it's not just that. I just don't know what people think when they're saying the stuff that they say. And, right now, if you guys don't know, I'm just actually trying to dig for our music of the week. So, because it's that time. We're about to enter that wonderful time of the day where we kick it over to a break. You're going to see how to find ODPH. You're going to see all that great stuff. And in the meantime, we are actually going to play, that's right, a song where the people in chat can guess on their end. And also, you can do it at your own. If you're at home, you can just yell at it. Yell, call it, something. I don't care.
Yeah, I got to guess too.
Oh, everybody's guessing. And it's not bringing up the one I wanted. That is a problem. That is an absolute problem.
We have had the worst luck this week with technology at 607 Podcast.
It is not. It's not good.
It's not.
It's not good. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I can't do it anymore. So I think we're just going to have to go with the backup.
Okay.
Go with the backup. All right.
I got to play along with everybody here at home. So definitely have your guesses when we go to break.
Yes, he doesn't know. He doesn't know either. So, but
Rich,
unfortunately, I have to go with a backup.
Yeah, Rich never tells me, so I have to guess along with everybody else, which is fun.
I think I actually found it.
All right.
I think I found what I was looking for. Thank the Lord.
This better not be Ryback's music.
Oh, it's not. I promise. So ready? Everybody in chat, hit it up. Check out the ODPH stuff. Live on air having problems. Guess what? We're not going to have them when we come back from the break, and we'll fix all of them. So here we go. Let me know. We'll be back in about 20 seconds. Name this tune. Ready?
Let's do it.
This gets me so pumped.
Hell yeah, man.
This is probably one of, if not my favorite of all time, entrance music. So the drill is this. If you are in chat right now, if you're watching on twitch.tv/607podcast, if you're in chat, hit us up with your answer in the chat. You can do that. We'll give you 5 seconds. Also, if you are at home, just yell it out and see if you're right, because Ken will answer in 5 seconds. So the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ken, name that tune.
The most badass version of the Bullet Club entrance you'll ever hear.
That is right. Last Chance Saloon, and that's the name of the original Bullet Club entrance. Well, actually, second Bullet Club entrance. The first real official one that wasn't Finn Balor's music or Prince Devette's at the time. So there you go. If you guys got that at home, or if you got it in the chat, thank you guys. Picks of football cards incoming tomorrow morning. Be on the lookout, according to Dave. Well, thank you, Dave, and thank you for the flashes in the chat again.
Yes, brother. Thank you.
Hooking us up, letting that money ride, brother, letting that money ride. So we are going to kick it over. And first, we are brought to you like we usually are because of our press connections from All Elite Wrestling. Yeah, you see the hoodie, you see the hat. And but because of which, we should let you know that this week, Serena Deeb is sitting down on AEW Unrestricted Podcast. Check it out anywhere you get podcasts. and you can find them. Also, AEW would like us to announce as well, and I'm sure you saw it all over the internet, that on January 27th, they will be giving out the first ever Dynamite Awards on it'll start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do believe it's on their YouTube channel.
Yes.
And also they have the BR logo, so I'm assuming it's going to be on BR and also on TNT. So it's going to be across the board. So there you go. Knowing with them that could change, we will keep you up to date. But that is the message they would like to send. So January 27th will be the first ever Dynamite Awards.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're doing the Wrestler of the Year, or,
It'll be their version of the Slammies, but a little different. And I think it's going to be a little more fan interactive, so you definitely want to check that out. And it's going to be streaming on TNT, BR Live. I mean, this could be all over the place.
It's going to be pretty happening. And then also, we would like to give a huge shout out to a good friend of the show, Leo Rush, as Leo Rush has captured the MLW, I do believe, middleweight championship.
Ooh.
So there you go. Not quite the big belt, not the one that Jacob Fatu holds, but the next one, he took it off of former champion Hammerstone. Who I've said that everybody should be signing.
Yeah.
If you're not trying to sound Alexander Hammerstone, I don't know what you're doing. But congratulations to good friend Leo Rush for becoming MLW. Sorry, I said MLB. I'm thinking about baseball already. MLW middleweight champion. Let's dive back into some news after those opening statements. And we're going to start off with a man who has announced he is departing. Josh Matthews is leaving the Impact desk after years of service to TNA/Impact Wrestling. He will be replaced by the duo of Matt Striker
and D'Lo Brown, baby.
D'Lo Brown. Looking at the real deal now. Woo! I love D'Lo and I love Matt Striker. I've had a love-hate relationship with Josh Matthews since his days in WWE and even in TNA and Impact. But it is going to be sad to see him go. He's been the voice of Impact Wrestling since it's been Impact Wrestling.
Right.
Since the merger, if you will, or however you want to call, the hostile takeover from, Global Force into, Anthem buying and becoming Impact. It's kind of weird to see him go. I do not know. Speculation is it probably has something to do with his wife walking out.
Could be. So obviously it's going to be a change in the guard at Impact. I am super excited to see the new team take play. Matt Striker always did an amazing job, WWE, Lucha Underground, and D'Lo Brown, baby, for the win.
Gives me a reason to bobble my head and wear a chest protector.
I am proud to say I own the D'Lo Brown t-shirt from WWE. I still have it, the original. You better recognize.
There you go. Well, does it still fit?
Well, I lost a lot of weight since I originally had it.
Easy then.
So yeah, it definitely still fits. And I
no
got
holes?
No holes.
Oh, good stuff.
It's fading a little bit, but still no holes.
All right. Next up, we have some more departure news, only this time from Ring of Honor. As a good friend of the show's and a good friend of mine, Dalton Castle has decided not to re-sign with Ring of Honor. Instead, he says he is going to test the market and see where he can land. That doesn't mean he won't be back to Ring of Honor. He has been very careful in saying that, but it is saying that he wants to test free agency. So he is no longer under contract with Ring of Honor. Currently, of course, he is a former Ring of Honor World's Heavyweight Champion and probably one of the most elaborate, eccentric characters in wrestling in quite some time. So with that being said, where do you think Dalton Castle's going to land?
He is tailor-made for NXT. And if WWE would make a huge mistake not signing him. He is a character that can wrestle, that can do a lot of things, that is just fits the molds of the Bray Wyatts, the Karrion Crosses. The characters you can build and go completely 110 with.
I agree. But I'm going to say this. AEW would be dumb not to try to sign him.
Oh, I agree. They would be dumb not to, but I just think that he is going to go there. Like, for some reason, when I think of certain wrestlers, some I think immediately AEW, but he is just screaming NXT.
Well, he's definitely a character for the WWE machine. Mm-hmm. However, I think that he would flourish in AEW because there's not many characters like him.
True.
But with that being said, I also do think he's going to land in NXT for WWE. So there you go. Or you never know. Maybe Ring of Honor will pull a coup and dump a ton of money. They did that before and it didn't work out for him. So you never know. Maybe they'll do it again.
That's true. They just got done re-upping a lot of their roster too. So
yes. Well, they don't want to lose.
No.
Well, this is going to take us into some beef that could have been in the first part of the show, but it's in the second part because it leads into other things. And that, of course, is the gigantic Twitter war between WWE Hall of Famer, former WWF champion Sergeant Slaughter and Mustafa Ali. Slaughter took to Twitter this past week after, the comments from Ali, what we talked about last week, where he was all over the WWE about their 3 hours of going on. And this is what Sergeant Slaughter had to say. Listen up at KC1 King. Thanks for your support of all those who paved the yellow brick road. Thumbs up. That the scum and puke at Ali WWE with a puking emoji has been allowed to put his slimy foot on ! Look up maggot in any dictionary. And then it cuts off because I'm reading basically from Mustafa's tweet. Mustafa clicked back to say, remember when you betrayed your country, maggot? ?
Give Ali a microphone on Raw, damn it.
Woo! Well, it's funny. It's funny you said. We got a brand new graphic, too, for this, so this is going to be fun. It's funny you should say that because that's going to lead me into the next bit of business we have for the show. And I know usually, generally, you get excited for this. So hopefully you get excited with us with the new additions. Okay?
Okay, let's do it.
Does it make sense to you?
Yep.
You ready?
I think it's my jam.
You ready?
Yeah, bring it.
3, 2, 1.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
I love the new graphic. Oh my God. Incredible.
By the way, if you notice, I did copyright the Wrestling Observer in the upper left corner because it was taken from their website, and I didn't want to get in trouble. So suck it, Dave. I need to explain while Ken is dying over here laughing. If you're watching on Twitch, you see this. I need to explain something. This picture is a special kind of picture for me. Because in this picture, on the left, we have Uncle Dave Meltzer. Right next to him, we have Brian Alvarez. On the far right, we have Wade Keller. And from what I understand, and I could be speaking out of pocket, but I've compared it to other pictures of this gentleman, because I did not know who he was. That, in the Golden Lover shirt, would be none other than Bruce Mitchell. The man that if I ever see, I will punch in his fucking mouth.
Oh shit!
That is a shoot, ladies and gentlemen.
That's 1,000% shoot.
So I did some research, so I do believe that's him. If it's not, I apologize to whoever that unlucky person in the Golden Lover shirt is. But I compared it to other shirts of Bruce Mitchell, and that would be him. So I felt like the Four Musketeers of bullshit would be the perfect logo for the Tell Me Lies segment.
I'm almost crying laughing at this. This is amazing.
And because the Tell Me Lies has grown bigger, and it's bigger than these four jabronis, because it includes all sorts of other things like cage side seats at times. I mean, sometimes they come with good news, sometimes not so much. Ringside as well. What Culture, Cultaholic. We call out everybody. We're fair and we're pleasant, and we call everybody out. So
Facts. Yeah.
There's a couple infractions this week that brought up the Tell Me Lies and the new graphic that I hope everybody enjoys. And Uncle Dave, the copyright is there just for you. So with that being said, because this was a picture taken for the Wrestling Observer newsletter. That's why I copyrighted it. See, you can see it in the screen.
No, it's clear as day, man. That's wow. So you did some work.
I did that. That wasn't in the picture originally. So You're welcome, Uncle Dave, that I actually put copyrights that you should put on your own damn pictures. So with that being said, this actually, first offense, has nothing to do with Uncle Dave, though. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with the Wrestling Observer. It has nothing to do with the PW Torch even. So none of these jabronis. It does have to do with Ringside and Cage Side, and there was 4 or 5 other of the smaller companies on top of those 2 bigger ones, dirt sheet wise on the internet, that decided they were going to run a story, and it ties into Ali, that certain people are upset about their WWE contracts and that they're not going to resign. One being Matthew Riddle, the other being Ricochet. Mm-hmm. So where I thought it was funny is that here's where Uncle Dave is actually did some good, the Lord's work. I'm going to give him props. So basically, it came through, and I do believe it was Ringside that I first saw the story, because I sent it to you originally. I think it was Ringside.
I think so too.
They broke the story and said some things. Cage Side said Ringside did that, but also put some meat and potatoes into it. So we'll give them credit. So they said that basically Matt Riddle's unhappy with his contract. He hasn't re-signed a new deal. Same with Ricochet. Now, we don't know about Ricochet. Nobody knows. Mm-hmm. Uncle Dave has even said he doesn't know. He's assuming that he'll resign, but once again, he doesn't know. However, if you go with the chronological order of things with Riddle, it's hilarious that and this is why we laugh at them. This is why we tell you to be careful what you watch and what you listen to. So in December, it was reported by the Wrestling Observer and also Fightful that Matt Riddle was approached with a new contract and deal that he wasn't happy with right away. A few days later, and by few I mean 5-ish, Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer and also Fightful, both in accordance, posted the same day, said that Matt Riddle had restructured, deal was restructured, Matt Riddle was on board with this deal, and on January 30th, or 31st, I might be off a day, so I apologize, Dave Meltzer reported through the Wrestling Observer on the newsletter, and Brian Alvarez reported on the radio, Wrestling Observer Radio, that Matt Riddle had signed said deal. So now, January, when the story broke, it was January 12th or 11th. And two of the other dirt sheets are saying that Riddle is not signed. I want to give credit once again, because I give credit where credit's due. Uncle Dave has stepped up and said, no, you idiots, he is signed. We reported it back then. We in Fightful, it happened.
In December, you're saying?
He signed at the end of December. He
okay,
re-signed a WWE
January
deal.
1st,
Sorry.
so correct that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I said, did I say January 30th?
I think so, yeah.
Anyways, December 30th or 31st, he signed. That is what has been reported. Dave has doubled down on it. The Ringside News one did mention that Dave had doubled down and everything else on it, but still went ahead with the thumbnail in the report. And Cage Side went ahead and said it. Now, Ricochet is a whole other deal. Uncle Dave says that he thinks that Ricochet is going to resign, but he said, nobody knows, so I don't know why this is a story. Wow, Uncle Dave, if he's not breaking the bullshit, will blow it out of the water. So we'll give him credit. Like I said, I'm giving him credit where credit's due. So please, nobody blame Uncle Dave for any of this. Uncle Dave actually didn't do it this time. That's a surprise.
That is a shock.
How many times are we actually able to be like, Uncle Dave didn't do it?
2021, man.
I'm shocked and I'm almost appalled. But Uncle Dave has done some other things. I'm trying to call up the article because, I try to be as professional about this as possible. Sorry, it took me a second. Where's it at? Come on, you bitch. Why am I having a problem finding this? Kill some time. Tell them about ODPH.
No, I can just say that definitely... Yeah, this graphic is still messing me up, so I apologize. Like I'm sitting there, and I'm just in awe of this. But yeah, for anything that is ODPH, and in fact, to do the new blogs count anywhere. Definitely switch on over to the parlay points section on OchoDuroParlayR.com and read up what we got cooking up there. It's got a complimentary piece to the show.
Well, I had lost the article, so you're off the hook this week, Uncle Dave. There was a second part of that article that I brought. Oh, no, actually, you're not off the hook. I found it because it was tucked into that Ali article. Because that's where it tied in with Ali, but I wanted Uncle Dave off the hook first. So, you end with the creme de la creme. So, I'm sorry, listeners. It looks real unprofessional. We're having a rough night today. It might just be because I have to go into work at midnight. So, I'm kind of like, So with that being said, though, Uncle Dave was leading the charge that said that Ali was not allowed to talk on the microphone on WWE because of his statements on Talking Raw. And then that got reverberated, and it went out, and it started with Uncle Dave. Guys, if you work people, you've been worked.
Yeah.
You got worked. You got worked, my friend. You did, because WWE is obviously not upset about it. They're letting Ali double and triple down. He's doing what he's doing. And of course, they're going to make it look like they don't want to give him a mic. And of course, he's going to sell that because that's part of the gimmick. It was great. It was a great moment. They've replayed it over and over again on their YouTube channels, on the WWE products. If they didn't want it, if they thought that it was offensive, if they were punishing him for it, they wouldn't keep showing it.
Correct.
I.e., they don't show the time that Titus O'Neil grabbed onto Vince unless it's something about Titus O'Neil. Remember that? Remember when he got suspended for that? They don't show that.
The hug of doom.
How often do they really show the Paul London smiling at Vince when he was walking to his quote-unquote death?
Yeah.
Anytime that it's real, they don't show it. That's why the pipe bomb was a work. Was it stuff that CM Punk really believed? Yes, because they told him to say whatever his grievances were. But it was a work. They knew it was coming.
Yeah.
They knew it was coming. That's why they replayed it. That's why it's one of the greatest promos of all time. With Ali, maybe they didn't have the script for him, but they knew he was going to come out there and say something to the effect of shitting on the legends. Mm-hmm. That is the point. That is what he's doing. That is the character. That's what Retribution stands for. Whether we like the gimmick or not, and trust me, the gimmick is shit.
Gimmick's hot garbage.
He's trying to make the best of what he can make it.
And that's the whole point is like, if he is absolutely out of line, WWE would bury him. You'd never see him on the light of day. He would be off TV. He'd be barely on main event if he really had a problem.
Absolutely.
So the fact is, he's doing this. He's working everybody. I just want to see him get the microphone because he's that good. And we're finally seeing what Retribution should have been from the jump, but...
I'm just going to throw it out there. If they're smart, they have him start grabbing the mic.
Yes.
And then cutting him off. Like letting him say like a X amount of words and then cutting it off. And they keep doing that because it makes it feel real. And as long as they're making it feel real, you're going to have the jabronis, the four musketeers here echoing out that it's real.
I can't look at the screen. I can't.
I thought you would appreciate it. That's why I didn't show you.
Oh, my God.
That's not it for my homemade graphics because I got one in the main event because we are going to take a final break. You're going to listen to our friends shout at the robots. Support them on Spotify, YouTube Music, Patreon, Bandcamp. Make sure you're supporting them. They're awesome. You're going to hear a little bit of them. It's going to be a short clip. I'm going to take a sip of water. We're going to re-gauge because it'll be main event time. And in the main event, we're going to be doing the 607 TWS. Bold predictions for the year 2021. Some of them won't be so bold. Some of them are going to be kind of like, normal predictions. Mm-hmm. But then we're going to make some bold ones that, and when we mean bold on this show, we don't mean that they're going to come true. And if they do, it's going to shock the shit out of us. Yeah. So I'm going to say some things that are pretty like outlandish just because you got to put them in the universe. And if it happens, 2021.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some of them that are actual real predictions that not just us, other people are saying as well. And we're going to discuss those when we come back. So enjoy Shout It, the Robots.
Are you ready? Let's get ready to rumble!
That's right, it's time to rumble, and we are back finally in the final segment. It's the main event segment of the show on this wonderful episode and hopefully not too snake-bitten episode of 607 TWS. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you're live.
We don't hide anything behind the curtain here, folks. You see it right in living color on your Twitch.
So we decided to end kind of like what we did last year at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. We were going to give some bold predictions, and I didn't keep track. I should have kept track of last year's. But trust me, because of 2020 and it was pre-COVID, I'm sure that none of them actually happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Drew McIntyre, though, like some of the small predictions that we kind of figured were in the works, like Drew McIntyre becoming champion at WrestleMania, that all came true. But that was like some of the things. So we're going to start with some of those this year too, but then we're going to get into some bold ones that are just out there that we just want to throw in the universe. And when we say bold, it doesn't mean it's so ridiculous it's not going to happen. Maybe some of them will be, but a lot of them will just be bold, like, hey, if this happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
But they're not something we're tying our horse to. It's just something we either want to see or something that is so ridiculous we just want to throw it out in the world.
Yeah.
So here's a prediction, and I'm going to open up the floor with not even our prediction. This is something, of course, that's floating around the wrestling world. We'll just give our takes and opinions on. One or both will become a respective champion in their company, Goldberg and Sting.
To both. But if I have to say one is going to do it, it's going to be Goldberg.
But it could be both.
It could be both.
I don't want to see this, by the way, and we talked about it last week. That's why we're not going to give it as much air. But it is a prediction. It's going around awful lot in the wrestling circles, and I'm going to give some credence to it. This is a prediction that's on the safer side of a bet. If you were asking me to pick Vegas bets on predictions, this is a lock.
Yeah.
At least one of them.
Oh, yeah, one of them is going to do it.
And if they both don't, maybe the companies came to their senses and we're good. We're good. But let's be honest. There's not a listener to this show. There's not a wrestling fan out there that does not expect that one or both of these men will not hold a championship in 2021.
Unfortunate facts.
All right. Another prediction that, is out there. This is a little bolder, but it's sizzle. WWE will come to the point where they do not care about All Elite Wrestling. And NXT will move to a different night for the fact that they believe that they can grow the best brand they have. Once again, this is not on the bolder side because I actually can see it. I think the writing's on the wall. And I've started saying this last year. Hey, JVD's in the thing.
Hey, what's going on?
It's going to be gold turd, 100% facts. It might be. I'm not happy about it, but I'm just throwing it out there. One or both. You could lock it in. But I'm going to give you my preface on this before I let you pick, and you can pick in the chat too, JVD, to join in. I think that the writing was on the wall a little bit of WWE not caring as much about AEW when they started releasing guys, and now they're not allegedly offering guys the money they were before. So if you didn't re-up when they were worried about it, you're not getting offered those gigantic contracts that they were getting. Right. Despite the fact that they've had a record year. So it's not because the money is short. It's not because they don't have it. It's because I don't think that they're keeping it enough of a threat that they're keeping NXT on the same night, but that could go away by the end of 2021, which would be a great thing for NXT if they were to have them move it to a different night.
I'll even say they're going to go to Tuesday nights.
Nah.
That I think that they're going to go head-to-head with Impact.
That's not head-to-head. Nobody cares about Impact.
It will be because my bold prediction, if I may jump in,
okay.
AEW buys Impact, and it becomes AEW Impact as the name of the show that goes head-to-head with NXT on Tuesday nights.
That's just dumb moves.
I didn't say it was a smart move. I just said it's going to be the show.
So it's dumb moves. So I don't know if I can go that far. I do think that as a prediction, one of the predictions out there is that All Elite Wrestling will swallow Impact Wrestling, which that's not really much of a brag, if you will. But I will say this. NXT, I do really think Tuesday would be the night. Agreed. What is AEW doing that's a threat or even competition? ? Nothing. You're right, JVD. It's 100%. And I watch AEW. I think I'm a fan. However, they're at this point in juncture, Vince is like, okay, it's like TNA. Remember, go back to when TNA ran against WWE
on Monday nights.
On Monday night, in the first week, they had a decent showing, but even then they got snuffed out because that's when Vince brought back Bret Hart for the first time in however many years. And they hugged it out. Him and Sean hugged it out. Remember that? That was the first night they went up against the Hogan Bischoff-led TNA with a 4-sided ring and the last hurrah, if you will, for Spike TV with them.
Right.
And even in that, like Vince treated it. Obviously, he treated it like a threat because he brought out Bret Hart. He brought out Bret Hart and he had him hug Shawn Michaels, and they did this whole pomp and circumstance that you would have normally seen on that night. They did it for that reason. And then about a month, and they were counter-programming them, and about 2-3 months later, they were like, oh, this is just trash.
Yeah, they're like, we got nothing. Yeah, we got nothing.
AEW, it lasted a little longer, and I think it's because of insecurities amongst the leadership in WWE. I think they know that there's things that they need to fix, and they've been laying on their ass for so long that there was no competition. So I think they overreacted to it as competition. Now they're seeing that the competition really isn't there. So now it's like, well, we need to make our shit better. And I think that's why that prediction, when I heard it, I can't remember who I heard it from originally. I know that it's been thrown out there. What Culture has also made that a prediction. Cage Side has made it a prediction. This is one that's been out there for, but I don't know who originally came up with it. I do believe that they will move NXT because I think WWE want it, and it'll be in the fall because that's when TV moves.
September.
And the reason why is because I think that they're going to want to grow the brand that people are interested in. And moving it to Tuesday will grow it. Because that leads to another prediction that I'm also behind. And if that's the case, if they move NXT, this prediction can very well happen that both shows will show over 1 million on their respective nights.
I'll give you that. If AEW definitely will. NXT, I think, will be close. It just depends on who is still there at that time when they go over to the new night.
True.
Because I will even make another bold prediction. Kevin Owens goes to NXT and becomes the flagship for the brand on the new night.
No, that's not even that too bad of a bold prediction, considering the fact that when they really X'd up their competition, they sent over Finn Balor.
Right, but I think he's going to be the one to really build. Maybe they might send Sami Zayn with him and kind of build some of the Raw and SmackDown roster on there to give that more of a spike for guys that they can kind of plug and play on the main roster, so to speak. But with NXT, they have a lot more freedom and a lot more creativity to do stuff.
All right, JVD and anybody else in the chat, this is where I really, really want some interaction because this is going to be an open-ended, bold levels of prediction. It's going to be a prediction that is out there, but it's going to be that there is going to be an exodus of the wrestlers. And I shouldn't say exodus because it's not going to be a major amount. And WWE can afford to lose a bunch. There's going to be an exodus of wrestlers that leave to go to All Elite Wrestling. Once again, that's not going to happen the other way around because AEW contracts, the earliest that they have to worry about is 3 years. So that would be next year.
Right.
The earliest they have to worry about anybody leaving. And some of them are signed to 5-year deals. So that the earliest really is 3 years for them. But there is some people coming up with contracts that may not be coming back. Obviously, we mentioned Ricochet. There's a lot of people thinking Ricochet may jump ship. There's a lot of people speculating that some other wrestlers will jump ship. I'm asking for your opinion, and anybody in chats, what wrestlers do you think most likely? Sami Zayn is one of the bigger ones, also to jump ship to AEW. His contract is coming up. What wrestlers do you think, if possible, and I'm not going to look up every contract unless you guys want to, what wrestlers, if you think possible, Ricochet and Sami Zayn are definitely on the table. I would like to hear opinions. But what other wrestlers do you think possibly, if contracts are up this year, may jump ship to AEW? And you can make the predictions as bold as possible. If you would like, you can tell me what you think are a lock, and you can tell me what you think are elite. And let's start with the two that I just said. I honestly think that Ricochet may leave. I'm so up in the air about Ricochet. It's like this 50-50 teeter-totter. Like, I don't know. It depends on the day. I do know that he has turned down signing the deal that they originally offered to him. There is a negotiation going on, but that doesn't mean he's done yet. Sami Zayn, on the other hand, I think it's a lock that he stays with WWE. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I agree with you about Sami. I think he stays put. The fact he just found his character now for the main roster, I think, is a telling sign. And they're giving him a lot of TV time. He's in high-profile programs on SmackDown. So, that being said, yeah, he's a lock. He's not going to go anywhere. Ricochet, I think, is gone. I think that he is seeing that he has fallen out of favor with WWE for where he was being pushed. And you can say what you will about this whole, will he join Retribution or no? I think he's as good as gone. I really do. So, I would say he will wind up on AEW. And then I will say also Apollo Crews is gone. I think he goes out the door too with AEW.
I agree. I would say that would be a lock as well. Some other names that have come up: Cedric Alexander. I would have said 3 months ago, yes. I don't think so now. The Hurt business is booming, and I don't see him trading horses at that point. You don't make it to the level that they're going to make it at, and everybody in that stable's going to make it at and leave. My personal opinion.
Yeah.
And then other than that, there's been a few different women, that could possibly be going. Nobody of note, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the weird part. It's nobody of note. It's nobody that they're like, oh, man, if they lose Mickie James, that's going to be – it's not. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's not going to move the needle that much.
So it's not worth the time. Now, what does move the needle is the next set of predictions that I want to everybody, and that is free agents in wrestling. We already talked about Dalton Castle. Mm-hmm. We both think he's going to go to WWE. Actually, not NXT, but WWE. Dijak, if he doesn't get rid of that terrible gimmick. I agree with you, JVD. Although he seems like a teamer, though. That's the weird part. I think he just wants to go back to NXT.
Yeah.
And kind of like what Mercedes Martinez did. So I don't know. I could see it, though. I could see it if they keep pissing him off. But he's been so hardcore Team WWE that I feel like he's going to stay. Because he's going after people, and it is on behalf of World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah, and the thing about him, too, is he is so taken a hold of this gimmick and ran with it. Like, he's not disgruntled with the gimmick. Like,
the weird part is it's almost like he likes the gimmick.
Yeah, because now people are not so much focused on, like, him versus Keith Lee, which is a great feud, don't get me wrong. But he now can get on Twitter, go completely haywire. He's generating enough buzz that when the shitty gimmick is finally done and he takes off the mask, he's going to have a new following. And I think that's going to really propel him up the card.
I can see that. I'm not even lying. I can see that.
Yeah.
It's a total whatever. But I mean, I can see it either way. But I mean, for some reason, I just don't see where he's doing it. Jumping back into free agents, and I want to get the takes on this for this. Free agents, we already talked about Dalton Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the one that is just new on the market, the Switchblade Jay White. Now, initial rumors said that WWE was almost a lock. But now they're saying that AEW is in the mix. So do you think that the Switchblade will end up in AEW or WWE?
Okay, now, before I give my pick, what is the rumor about he signed a 7-year deal with New Japan? Okay.
I've not heard much about that. New Japan notoriously doesn't sign long deals.
Right, because allegedly the story goes that when AEW was forming, one of the Young Bucks approached him about coming, and he told them he signed like a 7-year deal with New Japan. Now, granted, I know they took his profile off their website, so I'm going to go on the factor of he is going to be a free agent. But I just wanted to see it. And if anybody in the chat knows any confirmation about that rumor, please hit me up at OD Parlay Hour, because I'm really kind of curious about like what is serious and what isn't. But that being said, if he is a free agent, he is coming to WWE. He should be courted heavily by AEW, especially if they want to do this whole imitation Bullet Club revival that they're doing. But WWE, I feel, is going to do their own version of the club, and this is going to be another prediction, because I fully think by year's end, we're going to have a faction on one of the brands with AJ Styles, Adam Cole, baby, Jay White, and Finn Balor. And you have your Club 2.0, but it'll be done a lot better than what we had when it was Gallows, Anderson, and Styles, and the OG or OC or whatever the fuck it was. That's my early prediction for that one.
Well, there's just people who speculating he was going to return to New Japan and that they just let him use reality to as a work. But that's also kind of what people thought when Omega stepped out.
Yeah.
Too. So we don't know. We're going to treat it like he is a free agent because that's all that we know is a free agent. So I could not find anything that said that he is contracted in 7 years. I kind of question only because they don't really sign those deals. White looks like a guy Triple H would love to have. Someone has to bring down
the Undisputed Era.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. He's tailor made for the World Wrestling Entertainment.
Oh God, yeah.
He is a character. He is a gimmick. He is a talented wrestler. I mean, they fawned over Karrion Kross. He is that kind of caliber athlete too, that can make an impact and be a main eventer out of the box. Mm-hmm. I mean, you won't face the challenges that you would face that we face with Shinsuke and others with the language barrier either, because even though he has an accent, he speaks perfectly fine English.
Yep. So
it's the difference. And some people say that's not right, and it's not right. I don't agree with it because I think that you shouldn't judge that, but that's how it works. If you can't communicate a character, a lot of times it is hard to do so. It's the same thing that people run into in Japan.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's running into in Japan. I think if there's any rumors that are true that he's unhappy there and that's why he's not re-signing or whatever, I think it's because I think that's what he's ran into. He is very appreciative. I do believe he respects New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying he has now ran into that language barrier where he's not breaking that next level. He is not at Kenny Omega level, and I think that on some level that bothers the Switchblade.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And as it should. But once again, the difference is Omega knew the language. Mm-hmm. Omega spoke fluent Japanese, so he could actually cut those heartfelt promos to the crowd, whereas Jay White can't.
Right.
And it's hard. I mean, who else is going to have that problem over time is Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
But Will Ospreay seems not to care because I don't know if Will Ospreay really wants to cut promos.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with.
He's perfect the way he is, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up on the list is a person who has been a free agent for a while, but has not found a home. Is it going to be 2021 is time for Tessa Blanchard to find a home?
Yes.
Where do you think she's going to land?
I truly think she's going to AEW.
I agree.
Yeah. I think that they are desperate for a Charlotte Flair type level champion in their women's division to reignite that division. And it's nothing against Britt Baker or the talented females they have over there right now. But how they've been mismanaged since the jump, they need a big free agent splash to come in there and shake it up and get some eyes back on the product.
I agree. And I am going to take a step further. I think that Tessa Blanchard, with all of her difficulties leaving Impact and all the stuff that has been alleged and rumored over the past year between the bullying and, not having a deal at this point juncture or that, for whatever reasons, whatever you want to believe, I think that this has soured WWE on Tessa Blanchard.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they don't want the headache.
Yeah.
I think right now they're at a really good spot with their women's division where there seems to be very little headaches in that locker room. And it feels like everybody's firing on all cylinders, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, or NXT.
Agreed.
And we've been saying that for a while, that the best women's divisions lie in WWE between those brands.
Mm-hmm.
Each brand has a great wrestler. I think NXT is the best as far as talent pool-wise. Star power-wise, Raw is top tier.
Yeah.
And then, SmackDown is not a slouch place. I mean,
No, definitely not.
The boss is running, Bailey is still around. You have all these people there doing great stuff.
Yeah, even their women's tag division is starting to pick up some heat.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I'm just saying on every level, WWE's firing on all cylinders. And for the most part, we've heard that now people are on somewhat of a good level with them. Mm-hmm. Like before, there was some friction in that locker room, like major friction. And now we're being, there's been no rumors of it for a while. A couple people here and there, but now it seems like they've kind of come under even the long-term Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks incidents and stuff have now been taken away.
Very, very quiet.
So they've kissed and made up, allegedly. Mm-hmm. So I think you can't add in somebody who might stir the locker room shit after you've gotten rid of it.
Yeah.
And as talented as she is, there is a drawback. AEW, I don't think that drawback's enough of a reason not to sign her.
No, they need to take the lock and leap. The lock is she'll come in, she'll generate ratings. The leap is it's not going to destroy your locker room. But they have to take that chance. They have to do something for that women's division because unfortunately they have done a piss poor job of developing it. And we've had flashes where it looks like, okay, we're going to finally turn the corner and really make it into something. And then we take 5 steps back.
I mean, there's always the possibility nothing will happen with her.
No, that's true.
'Cause maybe AEW even goes, listen, we don't want a piece of that either.
No, it's true. The only thing I can say is, like, with her dad still being there, could that be an influence as well? I mean,
it could be, but here's the other thing you have to worry about is as we all make the joke about, and it's serious, is that for the most part, the women's division in AEW is an afterthought.
yeah.
So do you want to dump that much money into a person in that division that you don't even give a shit about?
That is a very valid argument. No, you bring up a very good point, but I think for AEW, if they're going to salvage it, they have to take the shot.
And they definitely don't care about it now because Brandi Rhodes is out being pregnant. Mm-hmm. So, there's no way for her to put herself over.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Tessa with FTR and Tully is what JVD says. Makes perfect sense to have a female in that group to go for the title. I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree that it makes perfect sense. I'm just saying there is the drawback. There's the headache. And I don't know if it's worth the headache. We'll find out. Also, like I said, they tend to not care about the women's division.
Yeah.
And you can say that they do, and people will try to argue they do, but they've never shown they did. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're coming out every week going, see, look it, we're getting better. They're just not.
Yeah.
I mean, we see Nyla Rose in a whatever this church girl gimmick is with Vicky Guerrero in backstage segments instead of in the ring.
Yeah.
We're seeing Britt Baker doing hosting a show and not wrestling.
I will say they got one over on Cody, so that segment has a special place with me.
That's fine, but I mean,
I know, I just had to interject.
She technically was the face of the women's division, or allegedly that's what we all thought, and she ain't wrestling. And as far as everything else goes, they have some talented females. I'm not saying they're not talented. It's just if you don't use them, it doesn't matter how talented they are. They can be the most talented people on the roster. Same thing applies for WWE and their singles roster. I mean, you can have the most talented wrestlers in the world, and if you don't use them, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter at all. And that's the case that I think AEW is in with the women's division. So do you spend the Tessa Blanchard money, because she's not going to come in cheap, to then just have her be an afterthought?
No, you bring it, like I said, it's a great argument. But I think they do, and I'll even give you a bold prediction. She comes in, Britt Baker leaves.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we know Adam Cole ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Don't matter what anybody says.
It's, the funny part about it is that even Dave Meltzer is saying that he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't even bring up him going anywhere.
No, like I said, my bold prediction there is Britt Baker's gone from AEW, and she'll be in WWE, but it's the minute she can get out.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But that's going to move on to, let's get into some of our own bold predictions. Those were just some kind of warmers, teasers, things that are going on in the world. Let's make some bold predictions. I'm going to start with a lesser bold prediction, but a prediction I've been making for a little while, and I think that's going to finally happen, and I think they kind of did what they did. I think that The Miz will become WWE champion at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I believe that he'll cash in Money in the Bank at WrestleMania successfully. And the reason I say that is because I think that they need to draw a buzz. I've said it before. I've said it again. Drew McIntyre, not really carrying the division.
No, his reign is very, very polarizing.
And I don't want to judge it completely on him. And maybe if there was live crowds, maybe it would be better.
Mm-hmm.
But he's definitely not the guy.
Yeah.
By what we can matrix it out to be. It's kind of like when Diesel was world champion.
Yeah.
It's you're the world champion of one of the lowest rated times in wrestling, whether that's your fault or not.
Yeah.
It's still coming down on you. You're the champ. You need to mix it up. The answer ain't Goldberg. The answer ain't Brock Lesnar, which from what I understand, Brock is just looking for a payday. He doesn't even want a belt.
Yeah.
The answer is going to be just giving the belt to a heel and letting them do heel shit until you figure out what's going on or until live crowds are back. I say Mania because there'll be an audience of some level at Mania, and that means there'll be a pop.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that the Money in the Bank will get cashed in there. And just like I think it's going to be an easy title defense pretty much for Drew at Royal Rumble. The only reason I say that is because Goldberg is been brought in, and like everybody else, to just make Drew look super strong. Think about it. Everything they've done is to make Drew look super strong. Mm-hmm. They, even when they had him lose the belt to Randy, they had him do it so they could win it back hero style. Then they had him in a match that was a one-on-one match that became a triple threat, so he could conquer not one but two guys. Mm-hmm. Like, that is really what they're doing. JVD says, say it is Brock and Gold Turd for the title at Mania. Do you think Lesnar would be pissed without a cash in again on his spot? I don't think so. He's money.
No, in fact, I agree with you. I think that's going to be your WrestleMania main event, and I think that's where the Miz cashes in. Because I think
think that they're actually going to have Goldberg win, and then you have Brock?
Brock wins the Rumble, and he doesn't have to come back on TV.
That's true.
So they'll completely hype up everybody else. The Miz will be in the wings waiting because now he can argue, well, since I got my title back, it's a reset 365, so he won't be saying I got the Money in the Bank, and then he'll strike just when the timing is right. Like Drew McIntyre might come down, hit both of them with a Claymore or something, and then the Miz comes in, hits him with the briefcase, knocks Drew out, pins one, done.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can see that happening either way. I can see. I'm more leaning towards. I think that they're going to build Drew strong like they have. I think he'll go over Goldberg, and I think we'll hit the rematch at Mania between Brock and Drew. Mm-hmm. That was my thinking going in.
Yeah,
because I do think Brock will be in that match. But to JVD, I don't think Brock gives a damn about belts. I don't think he cares about winning and losing. At the end of the day, he cares about getting paid.
Yeah,
and he's going to make a cool few million for that appearance, so he don't give a shit. And that's facts.
Yeah,
that is 100% facts. And he's done that before. It's not like a big deal to him as long as he gets paid and he's entertaining and people want to pay to see him again. And you could also, the chicken shit heel route could be a good way for them to get into something new and see where to go in the meantime. It's something they haven't done in a while. They haven't done it since Seth Rollins. So, I mean, they could do the same playbook for much the same reasons.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that both are plausible. I just, it's bolder because they change what they're going to do by the day's end. They're rewriting shows on spot like they've been for years.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know. Speaking of that, you're so... bold or not bold, you're saying Brock Lesnar's going to win the Royal Rumble.
Yep. I think that the writing is on the wall that if Goldberg is going to beat Drew Mac, which I fully think he's going to, and you can hear the pain in my voice if you're not watching on Twitch, they're setting up for Brock to come back. And I think that they want to have some buzz generated at the Royal Rumble. Love it or hate it, Brock does generate buzz.
Oh, I agree.
So
no disagreement.
So they'll definitely book that match. The internet's going to get super pissed. People will tune in because they're going to make this card very good, but
it's a Royal Rumble. People are going to tune in anyways.
Right, but even so, the after effect, people are going to get mad, and everybody can say, "Oh, I'm not going to watch WrestleMania." Blah blah blah. You're watching WrestleMania. Don't even try saying you're not. They're going to stack it up so when people tune in, this might be the first main event of the night because Roman is still on the card. and I think he's going to close the show.
I mean, a Rumble match will close the show at Mania.
You're right.
Or, I mean, a Rumble.
Yeah,
sorry.
no, at Rumble. No, but I'm saying WrestleMania because once it's booked,
Roman's going to close the show.
yeah, once it's booked Goldberg versus Lesnar, that's going to be the first one of the night. So, like, everybody can calm down about it. And that's where I think The Miz strikes in. And I think The Miz is going to win. And I fully see him walking out of there with you. And then I fully think he's going to lose around SummerSlam time to a call-up. Adam Cole, baby.
I mean, it could happen.
And I think by year's end, Adam Cole will be the Universal Champion or WWE Champion. Yes.
Let's go along with the Royal Rumble because I'm going to skip my bold prediction, and it's been my bold prediction for a while, and I know they're probably going to drop the ball on it, but I think by hook or by crook, Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble. I think that, I'm going to get it a step further. I think that Roman Reigns is going to help him accidentally win the Rumble. In other words, he's going to go out there being told to eliminate threats. Mm-hmm. And he's going to do so. And then it's going to come down to him and one other person. And, of course, we know Roman has no way to not get involved. And he's going to try to eliminate Jey and inadvertently eliminate somebody else, including maybe even a Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be smart if it was Brock Lesnar. And here's why. Because Brock Lesnar can main event WrestleMania without Royal Rumble.
Right.
And what you do in that case is then Lesnar, to JVD's point, loses that match by a crook. He's pissed off. Later in the night, Brock comes out, and Jey Uso showing hard again. Almost is getting there, but not quite. But then Brock comes out and destroys Roman, and Jey Uso becomes your champion. And it carries the story on that I think is the better story in all of wrestling. Mm-hmm. Mind you, it probably is not going to happen. That's why I said it's bold.
Right.
But I feel like if you were smart, that is your Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan moment. You have the underdog win that everybody has fallen in love with, and they feel bad that he's the lackey to his cousin. They hate Roman at the time. This is a perfect storm. And then he comes back to be the beloved conqueror. And you could even, if you want to make it easier on them, and that's how I give you the idea with the Brock, you had that little Brock business, so then people can go, so WWE, not people, but WWE can go, well, Brock kind of helped him. So you have Jey Uso as champion for a couple months, you get that high feeling, and then the belt goes back to Roman.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, you have, maybe in between you get that Brock-Roman match, which they do all the time, but it's a good big money match that you can do in the pay-per-view in between and stretch out Jey Uso's run. In my opinion.
No, I agree. That's smart booking.
But they don't always do smart booking. That's why I said that's why it's a bold prediction and not that. Without Heyman, should Brock always come out to the ring jamming to a boombox?
Yes.
Yes, but I don't think he's going to be without Heyman because Brock is a Raw guy because he don't want to work Fridays.
Yeah.
True story. So I'm assuming Heyman would still be managing Brock. Dual managements, which he's done in the past. He was managing Brock and CM Punk for a little while before they did their match.
Right.
So I mean, it's always there. But yeah, I mean, I would mark out in bold prediction for him with the boombox all the time because I love the Brock box.
That would be epic.
Bold prediction from you, sir.
Speaking of the devil himself, CM Punk will appear on AEW to challenge for the championship title.
Only because I called him out last week and said that he needs to do that to be the best. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just putting myself over now, but I'm sure that's playing it into it.
Yeah, well, it's playing into it because obviously AEW is going to really make a ploy to try being the super indie this year. And what I mean by that is we've heard from Okada, we've heard from other wrestlers about getting the other promotions to work together for a big cross promotion. I fully see that being All Out. And I fully see that being when CM Punk is taking on Kenny Omega. Or he's involved in a title match on that card.
Which would make sense because they'd be in Chicago.
Right. And I think that one is also going to be a bold prediction because I think New Japan is going to work with AEW on that card. So, in what variation? I think the smart money would be Kota Ibushi versus Kenny Omega. But if you're going to put CM Punk on there, you have to give him an opponent that's worthy of his level.
I mean, I think if for a better card like that, you should just do New Japan guy versus Kota. Mm-hmm. Because then you know that they're not going to have a mutual champion. Right. That's just not going to happen. So if you had the two champions go against each other, you know it's got to end up in some kind of tomfoolery. So it'd be better if you did like a Kota Ibushi versus insert whoever they're pushing at the time in their top tier, whether that's Naito, whether that's Okada, whether that's Ospreay. Probably Ospreay would be a great pick because they've had great matches anyways.
Yeah, right.
And then you would do Omega versus, in your case, you said CM Punk, and I could agree. I could see that, especially as a bold prediction. So I would say if you're going to do a card like that, because then we know we're not going to get that screw job ending.
Right.
Because even if they do a show together, I don't think they're going to be working completely in cahoots. And I don't think that New Japan is going to let their title be held by the same guy who holds the AEW title and vice versa.
No, because I think Kota goes over.
Yeah, but I don't think AEW is going to let their belt go to Japan.
Oh, no. Like, it wouldn't be title for title. It'd just be
You think it's champion versus champion, no titles on the line?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know if I like that so much.
See, I don't know, because like I agree with you. They wouldn't let the title go, and there'd be like some shenanigans at the end. But I think that you need to have some kind of match like that to work. And like I said, I would do the champion versus champion because Kenny Omega's going to become the belt collector, but he can't win that one.
Well, if you sell a CM Punk in there and a CM Punk versus Omega for the AEW championship, and on the co-main event you have Kota Ibushi defending the IWGP title against Will Ospreay. We'll just use Will Ospreay. I think that card sells itself.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think you really, because you have the double title matches for the two biggest belts not in WWE, and you have two great matchups, including one that will put asses in the seats if you could pull the heist of CM Punk.
Yeah.
And then on that undercard, you could now see. I will argue this: on the undercard, you could do non-title matches for other things, like i.e., if you wanted to do Bucks or FTR taking on the Gorillas of Destiny, if you could work that out with all the mess that we have going on now.
I think you'd have FTR for some. Yeah, I don't think you can get work the Bucks.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you have that happen, I'm in. There you go. Because I don't care if the tag titles are on the line as much. I think that would just be an attraction in its own. You know, there's a pissing contest between the two companies. They're never going to let their belts go to the other company.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. So I feel like with the belts not being on the line in the biggest show of the year, I always have a problem with that.
Well,
and that's why All Out, it would be better serving for AEW as their biggest show of the year to have the most marquee title fight they can have. And because this would be another big showing for New Japan in the United States, it would be a way to showcase what New Japan does to get some NJPW World buys and get more of that American market that they want. Because think about it, what would sell more people than a Ibushi Okada or Ibushi Ospreay match in Chicago, Illinois?
Yeah. No,
I'm just my personal
No. I get you too. That's why I said, like, I could see the champion versus champion because with Kenny trying to be the belt collector, and that's why I said the New Japan one would be on the line. Like, he'd pull some heel stuff like, no, you're not worthy of my title, and try selling it like that. So I think that you could do that. But no, I like the other way you have it booked.
Well, on top of that, New Japan is still kind of butthurt about Kenny Omega. Like, that is the one thing that they have not held back on a secret. Whether working with AEW or not is fine. They ain't working with Omega.
Yeah.
Remember, they tried to bar him from an airport.
Oh, yeah.
They heard that he was coming to watch Ibushi win the belts, and they were like, you're not welcome in this country.
Yeah.
Think about that for a minute.
Well, that's what I said. Bold prediction.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can work something out to be on the same card, I'm just saying that there's no way New Japan would ever be like... JVD says, say Punk does go to AEW and wins the title. Who does he drop it to later? ? Or does he break his WWE record for days held with it? I think that you don't drop it for a while. If you're going to pay him as much money as it's going to take to bring back CM Punk, you let him run with that gold for a while. And I wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't let him run for 2 years. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because, I mean, damn. It's a good look. It's a real good look. I will say this. If you can work out some smudge deal with New Japan, I think that's the only way you would see anything like that in an exhibition. Probably no title on the line, but the only way you're going to see the new IWGP champion against the AEW champions if it's Punk, because then they understand that's big business for them. But there would be no belts on the line. Which, once again, I don't think that should happen at a thing like All Out. They should happen at like a power struggle or something for New Japan.
Yeah.
Or a New Japan show in the States where they co-promote again. Do another one, in December.
Like what they did with MSG. Way back
absolutely.
when. With ROH.
So I'm just saying, you could do something like that. You could do a precursor to Wrestle Kingdom in the States. Like even what you could call Road to Wrestle Kingdom or some, whatever.
Some
or
like
Wrestle
that.
Kingdom Night 1. or however they, the opening or whatever you want to call it, and then just do the second night on the 4th. Do the one here in December at the end of December, and you do the other one on the 4th, like it's always ran. I don't know. There's a million and a half things you could actually do if something catches fire.
Right.
But with the Punk thing, I say you let him hold the belt, because why wouldn't you? Like, that's going to bring eyes to your product. And of course, if it gets stale, you can always do the quick hot shot off him, and he wins it back. Blah 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 blah. Like, no, there's none of the words. I've always said it. And I'll say it again, and I think this is one thing that most people can agree on. The only name that's out there in the world of wrestling that will bring them a gigantic audience that is, isn't going to be a Sting. It's not going to be, an old timer. The only one out there, there's only one name, and that's Punk. Because the other ones, you're not going to get. You're not going to get Seth Rollins. You're not going to get Roman Reigns. You're not going to get Randy Orton. You're not going to, there's guys you're not going to get. Is Ricochet great? Yes. If he goes to AEW, will he put on a hell of a matches? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely he will.
Him versus Matt Sydal.
I want to see all of it. I want to see him and Sydal. I want to see, there's so many great matchups. I want to see him and Guevara even. I want to see, these are matches that we saw in the Indies that were great. Let's be honest. But at the end of the day, is he going to move the needle enough of people watching in droves? No. The only name out there that's not loyal, if you will, to WWE is CM Punk. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is loyal. Yeah. They tried to get Goldberg in AEW, remember? Mm-hmm. It didn't work. That's why we got the Royal Rumble main event. I'm sure that they've made overtures to Brock Lesnar. He probably laughed at him because they don't offer enough money. Got to remember, with Brock Lesnar, he's a mercenary. He's a prize fighter. He doesn't care. He just wants money.
How do you think that text message went?
Oh, Jesus. First of all, we know Brock doesn't text.
Yeah, exactly.
Secondly, to do business with Brock, you have to go through Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
That's never a good sign for you. And I'm not just saying that because in real life, Paul Heyman handles Brock Lesnar's business deals. Mm-hmm. Even Dana White said that. Yeah. Dana White does deals with Brock through Paul Heyman because he trusts Paul. That's all. It's the only person he trusts. He trusts Paul because Paul's always done good by him. So inside and outside the ring, he needs Paul Heyman. So to get a deal done in AEW, you'd have to go through Paul. Paul's not going to, defeat his own paycheck. And he's not stupid.
I was going to say, he's locked up long-term WWE.
And he's not stupid.
Yeah.
He's not going to bite the hand that feeds. He never has. Mm-hmm. Never has.
He's always been loyal to Vince.
I mean, even when they have their outs, he's loyal to Vince.
Yeah.
They offered him big money to go to TNA/Impact.
Mm-hmm.
He turned it down. He knows where the money is. He knows where he can go get his paycheck when he has to get it. Mm-hmm. Him and Vince will fall out and he'll go back.
Yeah.
And then when Vince is gone, him and Triple H are boys.
Yeah.
So he's got a job. It's smart. I don't blame him there. It's smart business. But at the end of the day, would I get Punk the belt for a record amount of time in AEW? Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to draw some buzz.
You know why? Because people tune in. Mm-hmm. It's the same reason I was all for Jericho getting the belt. Like at the first, I'll say it. I said I wanted Hangman to win because I want this to be a youth movement. But I said, if you go back to that time, I said that you have to have Jericho win. He's the name. Yeah. He's the guy that the average wrestling fan is going to go, oh shit, Chris Jericho, and he's the champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was saying too.
And that's eventually why Jon Moxley, because there's no difference in character in AEW except for some hardcore matches, has failed as champion. They moved on. It's because he didn't draw the same buzz as Jericho, and that's just facts.
Yeah, he's just a different wrestler.
And finally, they went to the person they should have gone to way before in Omega. Mm-hmm. I mean, when he was the hottest wrestler in the world, and now he's cooled off a little bit. Yeah. I'm not saying anything bad about him. He's still amazing in the ring. But remember, when that company first started, he was the best wrestler in the world.
When he was officially announced at February press conference in Vegas.
Yep, best wrestler in the world. Now, mind you, I didn't mind the swerve with Adam Page versus Jericho, and I didn't mind Jericho winning. But I always said that Omega should have taken the belt off of Jericho after 6 months.
Yep.
And then you would have had the best in the world and the guy that was on the banner and
the whole kit and caboodle there.
Bold prediction. Oh, man, I hate... Bold prediction. This is the boldest prediction I'm going to make all day. By 2021's year end, the savior of AEW, the man who will be champion if there's no CM Punk, if your bold prediction doesn't happen.
Okay.
And they think they're crazy enough to do it, MJF. I think they'll pull the trigger on the kid a little early.
See, I don't think
that's
the
reason
bold,
why they'll pull the trigger.
I can see it.
It's bold because it's early on in his career to be pulling that trigger. But I think they're going to pull the trigger early, and I'm going to tell you why. This will technically be, he'll be going into the third year of his 5-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
They need to give him some reason for 2 years from then to not just go later and jump ship. Let's be honest, in that time period, Triple H may be running WWF.
Yeah.
Or WWE, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. I mean, Vince is getting up there.
It's true.
You're always playing with that fact. And Triple H, as we all know, as even the Young Bucks said, we talked about it last week on the show, he's a wonderful person to talk to. He understands workers. He understands the business. He understands all that happy jazz. So talking to him, he's a real good guy. And we know he knows how to push talent, because look at NXT. I mean, even though they don't do ratings, they're still doing a great job in storylines and pushing talent. So I think you have to start showing MJF, whether it's a TNT title, but I think that's beneath him already. I think he's already a star that's bigger than the TNT title. I think he's eclipsed being a mid-card wrestler.
I agree. No, he's one of your franchise guys.
He's going to go in a feud with Chris Jericho very soon, let's be
yeah.
honest. And after that feud ends, which I'm assuming he'll go over because that's what Jericho's done for every other person.
Yes.
So there's no reason that he won't. That's going to leave getting that belt. I think that if the trajectory stays the same, barring a CM Punk, barring your bold prediction, with this bold prediction, I feel that by summer, Cody Rhodes will win the AEW championship. And I know you're going to say, oh, that's stipulation. It's wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Rhodes will win the championship, taking him into winter when he's going to leave. And at the last big, and after All Out, he'll win before All Out.
Mm-hmm.
He'll carry the belt through All Out.
To full gear.
And he'll drop the belt. Or he might even win the belt earlier than I said. He'll win the belt at Double or Nothing and drop the belt at All Out to MJF. Now, mind you, this is all barring no Punk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Punk. If Punk comes in, everything
Punk changes the entire dynamic. This is barring no other huge moves. That's why I don't know if I see Sting in there, because I really think Cody is the one that's going to take the belt off of Omega. And I don't think that Omega's going to hold the title long, and I think it's because he's going to eventually end up with it back, because I think he's going to have to be forced back into being a face.
Yeah.
Because the crowd is, when they go in front of live crowds, they're not going to boo Kenny Omega. I'm sorry, they're just not.
No, I hear you.
So when they're in front of like major live crowds, they're going to be screwed. So I think before you do that, you hotshot the belt onto Cody to say he was champion. He drops the belt at All Out. He can take his paternity leave. And when he drops the belt, he drops it to the guy who he's never beat.
I could see it.
He drops it to MJF. And you don't have to have MJF run with it for a long period of time even. But I think you need to start giving him some reasons, putting him in his head, because he's going to be coming into only having 2 years left in his deal, that, hey, we are going to treat you like the star of the future. So the star of the future has to be now. Then he drops the belt. Then he can win it down the road again. That's a bold prediction. I mean, and I understand it's not super bold, but there's a lot of moving pieces there. Maybe the bigger bold prediction is me saying that Cody Rhodes will be champion as well.
I could,
but I don't think that's that bold.
No, that's not that bold at all. My bold prediction is involving Cody Rhodes. I think he will lose a loser loses pyro match.
Oh,
and go pyroless.
Oh, that's bold as hell, because that ain't happening.
He's going to do it. They were teasing it a little bit last night on the waiting room. I could fully see it. No pyro for Cody.
Brother. Hogan must pose. Cody must have pyro. If you're talking about bold predictions, that is just a prediction you want to see happen.
Yes, it is, Dan.
But I'm with you. I just don't see it happening, brother.
Oh, I don't see it, but that'd be a bold prediction.
It fits the bold prediction thing.
He has to lose pyro, and then he has to get a stipulation to get it back.
I'm with you. I think that'd be great, but I don't think it's going to happen, because I think Cody would feel naked without the pyro.
No, he'd have somebody come out with like the Gilbert, like two sparklers walk him down. They did that last night, which I have to say, if there's one great thing about that segment, because it was Trainwreck TV, goddamn, Britt Baker coming in. She's like, oh, Cody needs his pyro, mandatory, and they had sparklers as he came through the door.
All right, since you made a crazy prediction, I'm going to make a crazy prediction. 2021 will be the year that WWE cares about tag teams.
Let me see your drink.
Hey, I'm just trying to make a super bold prediction. Yeah. I had to try to outbold your Cody with no pyro. That's a little hard to do. I mean, they have the teams, though.
They got the team. Well,
are we counting women's too as the tag team division? Because I feel like that division is actually growing.
No, that division's growing. No, let's keep it separate, because, like I said, they're actually doing a really good job developing their women's division tag teams. Because, except the only one I will call them out on. whatever you're doing with Peyton Royce, you just pair her back with Billy Kay because, like, seriously, it's not working. Granted, Billy Kay is getting over just being Billy Kay, but you're doing a disservice not having the Iconics in your tag team division. So that being said, though, we're going back to the makeshift tag teams in the men's division because your SmackDown champs are the Dirty Dogs, which they now have a logo, and that's Ziggler and Bobby Roode.
Well, I mean, they've been tagging for a little bit, but it's really horrible.
But yeah, but they're the Dirty Dogs. And
at least they're not beer dogs.
Give it time. Well, I mean, Dolph doesn't drink beer, it doesn't look like. So.
Yeah, and I don't think WWE will go with the beer moniker on their PG television.
No, it'd be like root beer.
Right, but still.
Yeah.
They won't do it.
Right, but like I say, so, all right, that's your tag team champs over there. So you have a makeshift, even though you have tag teams there. You broke up Heavy Machinery, which Otis, he's lost in the shuffle now. And then you take a look over on Raw, and unfortunately, due to an injury, so we have to give that about Kofi Kingston, broken jaw, I believe it is. You don't have a lot of tag teams there other than the Hurt Business, which is phenomenal. And I'll even give a bold prediction to back that up. Cedric Alexander will be either your U.S. or Intercontinental Champion by the end of the year.
Okay, I like it. I dig it.
So you really haven't focused the time on having your tag teams. Yet in NXT, your division is now having a somewhat resurgence. The Dusty Classic is now bringing that out. And the Rascals debuted last night, too.
MSK.
Yeah. So there are the pieces there to do it, but WWE just does not care. And when they don't care about their tag team division, their whole programming takes a downfall, in my opinion. When it was thriving during the Ruthless Aggression era, how many great tag teams were there?
A decent amount.
Yeah. You had the Guerreros, Edge and Christian were still tagging, I believe.
And a little bit of it, yeah. But then he became Rated R, yeah.
Yeah, so then it's kind of transitioned.
Well, then you had Rated RKO for a little bit.
Right, World's Greatest Tag Team. So, I mean, you had the talent there. So for WWE, it would be a bold prediction if they got back to it, but I think it helps your brand instead of hurts it. So, but I would say that'd be a bold prediction.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said there's a big bold prediction. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen either.
No.
But that's why it's bold.
Because you got the Dirty Dogs.
Dirty Dogs. Although I will say this, speaking of bold predictions, I don't know what his contract looks like, but Bobby Roode, I think that it would be fitting for Bobby Roode to leave, go to AEW, and re-find teaming with James Storm.
Absolutely.
And then I know that they're a little older than they were, but they're still not. They're both great in the ring. Return of beer money, or whatever you want to call them, in that stacked division where they can take on FTR, where they can take on the Bucks and SCU, and the list goes on and on. Oh, yeah. And that is a big time. If you do it right, that's a big time heel tag team to bring in, because they can heal the hell out of it.
Oh, God, yeah.
So I feel like that is what you do, man, because they'll out heal even FTR.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so, just see those two in a program?
Oh, be a great program.
Who could be a worse heel?
Oh, so
Sign
good.
me up. Sign me
James Storm, easy, bottom line.
Facts.
You got any other bold prediction you would like to make?
I will say that New Japan will get a major cable deal in the U.S.
Really?
Yes. What network? To be determined, but I think they'll get a cable deal in the U.S. Not access, like one that's on your normal standard. I don't know what the terminology is for not your basic cable, but your next level.
But I know what you're talking about.
But just to explain to our listeners hearing us. Yeah, I think that they will get on a network. Maybe I would say ESPN, but no, that's not going to happen. But it would be something like that they'll get on.
Spike TV jumps back into the wrestling business.
I was going to say, whatever they're called now,
Paramount.
They're still Paramount?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't seen it changing it. I can see that happening. I could wholeheartedly see it happen. I mean, I think the only way that you get a deal done between New Japan and AEW to work together at all is if that included a deal on either TNT or TBS.
Or put them on True. The gold.
They ain't going to True. That's not enough for them to jump in.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're AEW, if you would want to help facilitate that, because then that's detriment to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because they put on some good shit over there. Such good. Oh, wait a minute. Speaking of that.
Oh.
I don't know why I did it on my own.
This is such good shit.
There it is.
I'm impressed.
I had a new one. I'm sorry. I had another new one, but I didn't get to play it. But Cody Rhodes would have said this to you if he was here hearing about your pyro.
You just made the list.
There you go. So I did add a couple.
Nah, fair enough. But no, I think New Japan is going to make the breakthrough on cable television this year. What network to be determined, but I fully think it's going to happen.
All right. Bold prediction. It's been out there in the ether for a while, and I say I don't agree with it, but I think that it could happen. I think possibly, and this is why it's bold, and I know that other people have made this rumor, and I decided I didn't give it credence before. I'm still really not. I'm just saying it's a bold. That's why it's bold. Mm-hmm. I think WWE, in the interest of having a real competition for themselves, will create their own competition. And what I mean by that is I believe that one of the products will be rebranded to WCW finally. And that way, they can use all of those WCW pay-per-views, not just on NXT. And that way, they don't have to worry about those trademarks lapsing for AEW to get a hold of them. I really think that that's the only reason that even has a shot in hell. I still don't think it's going to happen, but that was a bold prediction. That somebody else has a prediction on out there. And remember, people have been speculating on this WCW reunion, brother.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry. I can't buy it when we have more Twitter followers than anything involved in that reunion.
I just want to throw this out there, and I don't think that the reunion will happen. It's not going to be a reunion.
Or whatever that's supposed to be the...
Well, no, that's what they were pitching.
Okay.
It was a reunion that would turn into a show, much like what they did with ECW.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think what they're going to do, if anything, would be to rebrand probably Raw as WCW and run WCW Nitro on Monday nights. And the reason being is that way they could say that and then put in Stephanie in charge of it or whatever to say that it, or Shane or whatever, to say that it's not the same company. And maybe even have different writers, different everything different, just to make it different. And what you do then is then that way it helps protect your trademarks. Mm-hmm. It would still be under the WWE banner. It would still be on the WWE network. It would also add pay-per-views to the network because they're trying to make more revenue on the network. So think about it. If they're trying to make more revenue and maybe even adding another tier for X amount of dollars, they have so much talent that you could really do that easily. I think it would be snake bit if they tried to do something with a reunion. I think that they should just do it for the trademarks. And because I've said forever, with as much as AEW likes to talk about WCW, it would just be a free advertisement every Wednesday night. Maybe that's how you move NXT to Tuesdays, because you're like, fuck it. We'll change this to we'll change Raw to WCW Nitro. We'll let AEW plug us on Wednesdays, and that'll be a good lead-in for our show. Because they're not going to give up the WWE name on SmackDown because it's on Fox.
You're right.
Once again, it's bold. I don't think that's going to happen either, but I don't think it's tied into whatever Brian Alvarez has been trying to sell for months of this reunion. I don't think they give a fuck about a reunion.
Yeah.
They could care less. They could care less.
Yeah.
Proof of which is Sting wasn't locked down.
Yeah. We don't have the franchise yet.
Yeah, they didn't even try to lock him down. Do you need him for a reunion? No, they have plenty of guys they could do for a reunion any damn way, let's be honest. Ric Flair, Goldberg, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Like they have plenty of the fossils that they could drag out.
Glacier.
Well, no, he deals with AEW.
Oh, that's right.
I don't think they need Glacier. They lost Mortis.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Rest in peace.
Made it real.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. DDP is sometimes in, sometimes out. Sometimes he's AEW, sometimes he's WWE. You never know. Whatever's giving him a paycheck, brother. Actually, he'll be WWE because he had said to me personally, and he's made, this is not just something he had said it to me personally, but he has talked about this in interviews before. He has one match. He says he has one match left in him. He wants to work Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
Really?
That's been his dream match for the last decade. I'm not even joking.
Interesting.
The Diamond Cutter versus the RKO is how he put it. That was when he worked for 2CW, and I was talking to him, and he said that was the only match he would be interested in doing one-on-one ever again. And that answer's never changed. He's done a bunch of different interviews. You can look it up.
Interesting.
WrestleMania, him and Randy. And I've always said, unfortunately, I don't think he's a big enough legend to draw Randy at WrestleMania. Because Randy would be the draw in that case, because I think Randy, and no offense to DDP, I do like DDP, but Randy is the bigger star than DDP at this point, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
And the RKO has definitely surpassed the Diamond Cutter.
I'll give you that.
Nothing against the Diamond Cutter either. Just saying, it just has. Nobody was made, and I understand at that time there wasn't memes for RKOs out of nowhere, but DDP's Diamond Cutter out of nowhere was always kind of weak, and the RKO out of nowhere is pretty strong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Evolution, whatever, maybe they could make it happen on a secondary pay-per-view, but I don't know about Mania.
No.
But if that's what it takes to get a reunion, Brian Alvarez's reunion off, they're going to do it, brother.
They're going to be all
Hulk Hogan's going to be back out there with the WCW Hulk Hogan. Let me tell you something, brother. We're back in Turner organization. Where's,
6:05 we start.
Scott Hall goes out and he cuts the same promo he cut on the first night he was on Nitro. Where's the Nacho Man? Where's Scheme Gene?
Oh God.
It'll just be a rehash of every episode of Nitro. You dig up, you get Lex Luger to go out and walk out in a horrible tuxedo shirt and jeans. Walk out into the Mall of America, brother. Oh man, 2 greatest moments of Lex Luger's career. That moment.
And the ship.
Nope, Bruiser Brody.
Oh.
The no sell. I don't know if I would consider them great moments. I think that they're my greatest Lex Luger moments. If Lex Luger was in the room right now, I'm pretty sure he would answer with I don't know. That's right, because he doesn't know. What Lex, what happened between you and Brody? I don't know. Lex, how was it like being in the Mall of America? I don't know. Lex, remember that time that you were supposed to be Hulk Hogan and you dropped the ball? I don't know. You don't know a lot.
Wow. Wow.
Man, they did everything. They got the man a bus.
Yeah, this is true.
And it still didn't get over.
We don't need another hero.
And allegedly, he may or may not have killed Miss Elizabeth.
Allegedly.
I'm just saying. And I have no hate for Lex Luger in my heart. I'm just saying. That's what you do. You recreate every episode of Nitro you can.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, by the way, we didn't even talk about it earlier. I forgot about the breaking news the pad sent us. The Stone Cold Steve Austin will be appearing on the first episode, the premiere episode of Dark Side of the Ring Season 3 for the Brian Pillman story.
Yeah.
I knew that they were going to eventually do Brian Pillman. I was excited.
Yeah, that's.
I hope they give it the 2-episode treatment too.
Yeah, just them re-talking about the Austin S 316. I have 357 or I have 911.
Yeah, not even that. Like the reason why is the story of Brian Pillman and how he worked the wrestling business.
Yes.
Is one of the greatest stories ever told. The fact that the man was so intelligent that he worked workers. He worked like honestly, I can't wait for it to come out to talk about more. But if you guys don't know the story, look some of this up if you don't know the Brian Pillman story. He worked Eric Bischoff into believing that he was going to release him for a contract, then he was going to come back. Mm-hmm. He's going to do this thing in ECW or he's going to get heat on WCW. They did the whole angle on WCW where Kevin Sullivan pinned him quick and he was like, I respect you, Booker. Oh, no, it was an I quit match. And instead of saying I quit, he goes, I respect you, Booker, man. Mm-hmm. Like, peeling the lines back, Eric was all about it. He goes, you give me my release, I go to ECW, get a buzz, and then I come back. And then they were going to work him a program with Hogan, allegedly.
Yeah.
This dude gets his release and signs with World Wrestling Federation. He worked him into getting him a thing. Unfortunately, the world never got to see a really good Pillman there because he got in that horrible accident after signing with WWF and kept him on the shelf. If not, we would have gotten to see an amazing. So that's how we ended up with the Pillman 357.
Yeah.
Is because he was
Raw
laid
ever.
up.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man! The cops were called to his house and everything.
Yeah, it was legit.
People thought there was really a gunfight going on, but that whole story and the background to everything, the fact that they really thought in real life he was a loose cannon.
Yeah.
When it was just him working everybody.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff he did in ECW too. I don't know if you saw. It was great.
Pissed on the crowd there.
Yeah, he threw piss on the crowd. He wrestled a pencil.
Yeah.
Because they used to call the Booker the pencil.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm trying to get over on the pencil. It was insane the stuff he was doing.
Yeah.
But it was super good.
Yeah, his mind for the business, man.
Going back in time and watching that, you like when it was happening, everybody thought he lost his mind. Mm-hmm. You go back now and you look at it with like what we know about the business now, and especially somebody like me who, in the time I had nothing to do with the business, and now I've had something to do in the business. I'm like, man, that dude is the king of carny.
Yeah.
He worked an entire business full of workers to believe that he was going to do a whole bunch of shit, and he still is relevant. He's a super good worker. So kudos to him, and I can't wait to hear that. So that's why I say it deserves 2 episodes.
Yes.
If you're going to give Benoit 2 episodes for the heinous shit he did, you got to give Pillman 2 episodes, because Pillman didn't do any of the heinous stuff.
Right.
I mean, tragically, he did some really dumb things, but nothing that was,
Nothing on
nothing
on
Benoit.
Voldemort. Yeah.
levels. So I hope they do that. Speaking of that, hey, Bull, any other stories do you think you're going to hear on season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring? I guess that's a bold prediction before we end it up.
No, to be honest with you, I'm just excited to see that it's coming back, because, I mean, I don't know how you top what they did last year.
Pencil shavings?
Yeah, the New Jack episode is...
By the way, 2 greatest episodes, New Jack and Herb Adam, what is it?
Herb Abrams.
Herb Abrams?
Yeah.
Didn't know much about him, but I love it now.
Jesus.
I almost bought a
UWF shirt.
Oh, I'm supporting the fact that this dude was jumping out of windows naked, oiled up.
Speaking of shirts, before we close out the show, though, definitely want to plug what 2CW is doing for Brody.
Oh, yeah.
So on the 2CW Pro Wrestling Tees account, they have a Memorial Brody Lee shirt, and the proceeds are going to Brody's family. It's a cool design, especially tonight is the kickoff of the NHL season. Brody was a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan, so if you have the resources to do it and you want to swing on over, ProWrestlingTees.com and search 2CW store, you can find it's the all-day shirt. Definitely recommend picking that up.
Also, as a reminder, when you're over there, if you don't want to pick that shirt up, if you want to pick up a CM Punk shirt, all CM Punk's merchandise through the end of January 31st, all proceeds goes to Brody's family as well as Mick Foley. And then, of course, there is the AEW Exalted One official shirt. Also, all proceeds go to Brody as well. You can buy that on shopaew.com or Pro Wrestling Tees. It takes you to the same place.
Right.
But with the CM Punk and Mick Foley stuff, that's pretty awesome. They're 2 of the biggest legends who sell a lot of merch. So I even told my wife, I said, I've wanted to buy a CM Punk shirt for a little while. I think I'm going to do it this month. Yeah. Just because it goes to a good cause. So there you go. But yes, 2CW one as well. So add it to the list of great places to support.
They're doing it to the end of the month.
As well,
January.
yes. As the end of the month. And that one's a limited run. It will never be made again after.
Yeah, so I got to place my order tonight, actually, when I get out
go
here.
ahead and if you guys are buying them, go ahead and buy them. I'm saying for everybody, I just want to give everybody every option possible. Every option possible to support, so that's always important. But you know what else is important, Ken? Tell people how to find the ODPH.
Simple. You want to talk to all of us here at the ODPH, and I hope you do. Swing on over to OchoDuroParlayHour.com. Check on over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, where we are very active, and definitely check out the blogs count anywhere blog that I'm writing. The commentary piece 2, 607 TWS, that'll be out this weekend, so definitely head on over and check it out, and let me know what you think.
Of course, if you want to talk to the 3 Fat Nerds podcast, you can do that. All information, 8122productions.com. If you want to hear this in podcast form, if you're not already listening to it in podcast form, you can do that by searching 3 Fat Nerds anywhere you get podcasts. Of course, the best place I always say to get a hold of us, we have all the social medias, all the links are at 8122productions.com. Pretty easy. You search 3 Fat Nerds anywhere and you find them. But at 3 Fat Nerds Pod on Twitter is always the best place to find us, because that's where I do most of my living. If you're not following us on twitch.tv/podcast, make sure you drop that follow. We're almost to 100. Let's make it push. I know I say it all the time. Let's keep pushing, guys. Let's keep doing it. We will be here as far as specials. We're here every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the wrestling show. You can add in, as you heard, JVD dropped in. We're talking to him. We're chatting. That's what we do. Also, I want to throw out there that if you want to check out the specials we're doing, January 23rd, we will be calling as of 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be giving our live reaction commentary to UFC 257, Conor McGregor taking on Dustin Poirier.
Yep.
And so that's a happening. Chandler is also fighting on that card as well. Actually, it's a pretty stacked card.
It's a very stacked card, and obviously it's going to be one of the most watched cards of the year, and you definitely want to get our reaction. We're going to have Coach Duffy down here. Mrs. Coach Duffy.
I was going to say, we're going to have Mrs. Coach Duffy, a.k.a. the trophy wife.
Yep.
And she's the real expert in that family. So
yes,
you're going to want to hear her inputs a lot more than Coach's, because as our good friend Dave will attest, you just pick against what Coach picks and you'll be all right.
Yes.
And then, of course, I also want to point out that at the end of the month, what's the date on Rumble? I can't remember the exact date. It's the last Sunday of January.
Correct.
That'll be the first WWE live stream we've done in a while.
I want to say January 25th.
You could be right. No, 25th would be 2 days after. So hold on, let me look for sure.
But
it is January. Actually, it should be on January 31st.
Oh, 31st.
So the last day of the month will be the Royal Rumble. We will be starting about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that day, doing the live stream, live reaction, and commentary for the Royal Rumble. It's the first time we've done WWE in a while. So there you go. There it has it. We'll be back in February, of course, for the next AEW pay-per-view. Revolution is in February. I think that's the week after the Super Bowl, and then there's another big UFC card in February that we'll be calling. There's a lot of specials coming up. Make sure you're following because you get all those alerts, and make sure you follow us on social media because we talk about them. Of course, we go live with Magic the Gathering Arena. My birthday is actually in 2 hours from right now. If you're watching live, I will be celebrating that at my work for some reason until 8:30 in the morning. Horrible overnight shift, but whatever. It is what it is. But I'm glad I got to come on and do this week, as always. You can also support us monetarily by subscribing to the Twitch channel. That helps us out, helps with the algorithm. Make sure if you can do that, you do that. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you also, if you don't know this or not, you get one Twitch Prime subscription free a month. You can gift that to us for free. It helps us and it helps you because when we hit 25 subscribers, we're going to be giving away a $50 gift card to Amazon. And if you're an Amazon person, hey, bam, there you go. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It works.
Also, you can tip us at streamlabs.com/607podcast. And, we always like tips. If you want to throw them in, that's always a good way. And then last but certainly not least, patreon.com/8122productions. As little as $1 a month, you get a bunch of extra bonus content, including we're adding more because we're going to be doing WandaVision coverage over there for spoilers. So instead of doing spoilers on the show, we're going to be doing non-spoilers on the show and doing a spoiler behind the scene for that. And it will carry into Falcon and Winter Soldier and also into some movies and stuff. So we're going to be adding a little more. So you're getting even more for $1. I thought we were already giving out good deals for $1, but shit. Here we are again, brother. It just helps me create more stuff. I like creating stuff. But with that being said, I think that's all the plugs.
I think so too.
If I missed anything, forgive me. Diesel's not here to yell at me about it anyways. So with that being said, folks, thank you so much. We are going to end the show as we always do, and that is by playing our favorite song to take us home. And, of course, that is the Ode to New Japan Pro Wrestling and, of course, AEW Champion Kenny Omega, the One-Winged Angel. And it's by our friend Second Suitor. You can find it on the Super Duper EP. You can get that on Spotify, Bandcamp, and on YouTube Music. They're also running a really cool if you find them you can support them on Facebook. You can get the link through their shop. They're doing a really cool bundle package where you get a shirt, the EP, and a bag. Yeah. I think some stickers or buttons as well. It's really cool for $15. That helps support them. And trust me, you're going to love the song and you're going to love the music. If you've not heard it before and this is the first time, trust me, we love it. You will love it as well. And that's how we close out the show each and every week. With that being said, though, we will be back next week for all the wrestling talk at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. In between then and there's going to be other streams and all sorts of great stuff. So make sure you have your eyes on twitch.tv/podcast. If you're listening to us in podcast form, you know the Three Fat Nerds podcast comes at you every Tuesday pretty much on that. And you got this show to look forward to carry you through the weekend. Once again, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for allowing us to come into your homes, your ears, your whatever. Guys, have a great week. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. And love someone. Wing Angel.
Take my hand. We could order Chinese food, get high, and then watch New Japan. Rainmaker, my heart so damn hard I can no longer stand in this room. I'm starting to swoon. The walls made of neon, but I can't stop looking at you. Looking at you. And I've got a plan to shatter the hourglass, emptying all of the sand. This moment is infinite, dancing along with the band. Will you sing with only one wing? The angel I've looked for, and she can't stop looking at me. over my hand. The hot tag in your corner, our faction will never disband. The ace of my eye look alive, so surprised that she's walking towards me. A smile I see, connect from the top ropes. 1,